We are live. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to this week's session of Bardic Inspiration, Dungeons & Dragons in Shakespearean Style, featuring members of the cast of Soothplayers, Melbourne's home for improvised Shakespeare, among some other great shows. We are here in Lockdown 6.0, Melbourne edition. Those of us that are in Melbourne, our condolences. And if you're in New South Wales or elsewhere where you're locked down, extend that to you. Hello. It is time for us to join up with the Magical Cane Band, who are with me this evening. Meg, Rick, Matt, Donna, and Catherine as Alora, Broccoli, Budge, Finn, Glee, Rain. The Glee is not with us. Glee has disappeared. And the remaining members of the Magical Cane Band are here, moving in her wake. They have just recently had some pretty major sessions. In the swamplands outside of Gadmouth, a small lakeside town that is now recently booming with activity, including an influx of organized crime from an organization known as the Four Winds, and a lot of attention from other rich persons whom you have met some of recently. You also got into some business that resulted in, among other things, the departure of your friend Mother Sawyer and her house. And now you have very recently slain a dragon. It only took us 45 sessions of playing Dungeons and Dragons, but you slew a dragon. It happened. Hergor, the black dragon, accosted you in the swamps, and you had a confrontation, and you were victorious. And that left us with last session, in the aftermath of that adventure, and I'm going to leave it up to you, the cast, to remind us all of what you got up to in that time. To that end, I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. You've got 2 minutes to recap our last session, and then we will pick up with Bardic Inspiration. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, recap.
It was Laura's birthday and Broccoli made her a cake with special ingredient rat lung in it.
Lucky rat lung.
Lucky rat lung, but the rat lung got dropped, and Allura got a curse for her birthday. Which was real grim.
Curse to get rich.
And rich we got.
Oh
we
boy.
don't got.
Rich in dragon parts.
Yeah, because we went and robbed his house after murdering him.
Yeah, we murdered him, cut him up into little pieces, then we went and stole all his stuff. Because we're the good guys. We're the good guys.
And then we met a dog that called a lot of birds and did a show for him.
Swamp dog.
A man, a furbolg, who appeared outside of the dragon's lair and was also known by the name Yetus von Butkus, I believe, or Yutkus von Gutkus.
Yutkus von Butkus, got
Nice. And something's going on with Broccoli. It sounds like he might be starting to transform. And Rain was talking to him about rituals that we can perhaps do to get him to be able to control his werewolf curse.
The way of the wolf.
Yeah.
Ever enticing.
Budge discovered crippling stage fright during the performance.
Got to sort that out.
And we also discovered Elagor, the female black dragon, exists somewhere, as we were informed by Swamp Dog.
If we never say that fact again, maybe it's not true.
Agreed.
Agreed. We never speak of it again.
Yeah.
So now we're heading to the Moonwood, rich and still looking for Glee.
Oh, we were going to go sell some stuff to Budge's Smuggler.
Yep, and that is where we left off. That is time well recapped. We left off with you having finished giving a performance. You did a show for Swamp Dog, Swamp Diggity Dog, as Broccoli has convinced him to be called. Swamp Dog was very taken with your performance. And then in the middle of praising you, along with a bunch of his bird companions who he was speaking Sylvan to, disappeared mid-sentence. after seeming very confused, but very much in favor of your show. And gave you 5-star review.
Yeah.
Lest we forget. Hopefully his fate is better than the 4-star reviewer that you last had, who of course was Hergor.
It's a pretty good review.
Yeah, no. Tides turned quickly. When we left off, you were discussing what to do next, and as Matt just mentioned, one of the options that you put on the table was to meet up with a contact that Budge has for his various smuggling ventures, to look for a way to get rid of the various bits of viscera and other dragon parts that you just acquired, which you have been cutting into pieces small enough to fit into your bag of holding. And during your long rest, you dried some of them out with fires, attempting to make them suitable for travel. So, Magical Game Band. It is now still the morning, as you, having just lost sight of Swamp Dog, you are nearby Hergor's lair with the day in front of you. So I ask you, Game Band, what would you like to do?
Can we not be swayed and go to Budge's family? I was so excited about a fight club and a performance and a banquet in our honor.
Boy, yeah, we can go.
We head to Budge's family past one of his contacts that we might be able to sell some of our loot to.
Yeah, it was more that I'm not sure how well that the dragon's heart is going to keep. And, it's a couple of days in my family. So, did you see where Swamp Dog went?
Disappeared.
He faded mid-sentence.
Was corporeal and then, in a blink of an eye, lacked corporeal form. You know how Swamp Diggity Dog is. Here 1 minute, gone the next. Classic Swamp Diggity Dog.
Mayhap he is not so permanently tied to this particular plane.
No, I think not. You were speaking to those birds with the language of the forest, like Sylvan and that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird is them birds were speaking back. So I think that the birds weren't even part of this forest either.
Budge,
Right?
what languages do you speak?
Three? I think.
And is one of these languages thou speaks the language of the forest?
Aye.
Perhaps thou should teach us all some rudimentary terms, so that if we were to perform a show for birds once more, we could slip in some terms that would really connect with our audience.
Right. I mean, it's a hard language to learn. Or rather, I'm not a very smart teacher.
Well then, Budge, you shall just have to lead the show.
Yeah, I would sign up to her Truolingo. that would teach. I would do little 10 minutes of her Truolingo every day. Keep my streak up.
Right, that's how I learned it from my gran Ichabod. That you were met.
Mayhap she could teach us when we are there.
Oi, perhaps we leave the performance. Ichabod could do some sort of a show for you, teach you how to speak Sylvan.
Well, I for one am very impressed you know 3 languages.
Oi, I had to learn it one summer when we had a whole load of we're tall folk, kind of like you, Broccoli. You know, and Budge will start trying to speak in giant to Broccoli, but it's kind of like broken, and I don't know if Broccoli knows it or not. But
Does Broccoli speak giant?
Oh, this is a good question. Let me look up my.
It'll be on the left side of your character sheet.
Or even when I'm looking at it on my phone.
It'll be one of those menus when you're swiping in the D&D Beyond. It'll be one of the earlier ones, I think.
oh my god, Budge knows a lot of languages.
Classic Budge.
He knows 7 languages.
Did you just lie to
3.
me?
I didn't know. I thought he did 3. I don't think Budge remembers all the languages he knows.
He just code switches instinctively.
Yeah, I think it's like in his
Broccoli-
head, there's just different people that speak
Oh,
different
yes,
ways.
Broccoli, you
I
do
speak
speak
common,
giant.
giant, and goblin.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear you two talk in giant.
Can you show me to a safer part of these woods?
Your accent, Budge. Your accent when you speak giant. You are like a lowland.
No, slow down. I can't understand you when you speak that quickly. Broccoli.
You when you speak giant sound funny. If my family had heard you speak, we would have told tales of you for months. Oh,
I don't
one,
have a
Bud.
tail. I don't have a tail.
No, you don't. Oh, but keep it up, Budge. If ever I need a cheering up, I know who to come to.
Thank you. Goodbye. And Budge starts speaking common again.
Oh my god. Can I please, just for a moment, give a shout out to Elizabeth in the chat, who, when referring to your contact, Budge, wrote the words Budge's Smuggler.
I have never put that together.
If that's not a candidate for an episode title, I don't know what is. Oh my god.
Right. But yeah, we can go. I don't mind either way. Look, we could take the heart of this dragon
Yes.
and give it to my family and see how they can do with preserving it. For, of course, monster hunting is their business, and likely at least one of them will know what to do with them. But also, if we want the money for a boat, we're not getting any money from my family.
We already do have some money for a boat.
Oh, we got about what were it? About 4, 5. We got about 5,000 gold. Oh my god, that's more money I've ever seen in my entire life. By a lot. But is that how much a boat costs? I got no idea.
They vary.
Of course.
I reckon we'll be able to get a real-
showboat. The
Yeah, the
showboat.
The show barge. Yeah. No, show boat.
Yeah, I'm imagining we'll be able to pick up a plucky little fixer-upper that could a montage of fixing their endeavor, and we would all learn to deepen our friendships as this boat here fixed.
Would be a true delight for me, loving to fix things as I do and loving boats as I do, to
Yeah.
take upon such an endeavor with the.
Yes.
Oh, and on this boat we could have things for our shows, like trapdoors and launching platforms and ropes that are just for swinging.
Swinging ropes.
Boy.
I do worry if we meet your contact, Budge, we will get distracted and we will never make it to your home.
I don't know. Breezy likes to keep things pretty brief.
The smuggler's name is Breezy.
Right.
Easy breezy.
Well, they do endeavor to make things easier.
Oh, we must this contact meet.
But
Easy
here's a-
breezy.
they were the one that did teach me how to do a couple of things when I first, was bound to live in here due to the nature of my family's in debt to Edwin Banks. But for the first year I was here, when I met Breezy, they were the one who, when I trade things to, sometimes they didn't have enough money, so they would teach me little things like how to pick locks, how to speak in codes that some people understand. And
Does Breezy teach you to speak giant? If so, I'm not
No.
sure his lessons are well taught.
no, she didn't speak me out. She didn't speak me teach how to speak giant. No.
Close.
What is she?
She's a person.
Like a human?
Oh, you think so? or an elf. Sometimes I find it a little bit tricky to tell.
An elf and a human do look not the same.
Or the ears. If they wear an ear covering, tis hard to sometimes discern.
She does have the pointier ears.
Ah, then she be an elf.
Or a disfigured human.
Or may have
Broccoli, watch thy tongue. Please not say that to me. Or me, disfigured elf.
No, I meant no harm.
But she's gonna hide.
Just that a human could have injured their ears and have elf-shaped ears through some sort of ill fortune.
I'm only joking.
Oh, I did fear I had a faux pas made. Oh.
Were you in love with this person?
No! Why would they even ask that?
Wow.
Very high.
Second question.
Very high.
His reaction was
It's not high.
What? It's fine.
It's my normal register.
Thou protest too much. Yes, let us meet your contact so we can sell some heart.
Yes, you want to give your heart to Breezy. I see. It does make sense. Thou hast but one heart to give, or dost thou have another?
Nay, it is not like that.
Okay.
Oh, God, it's like I'm back with my family already. Look,
pay them no mind, Budge, and lead the way.
lead the way where? Are we going to meet up with Breezy, or are we going
We are
straight
going
to my
to
family?
be easy. No, easy breezy.
Are they at odds in direction?
Well, might take a bit of time for... They travel up and down the river between Gabmouth, Orst, and roundabouts. But I reckon that given the date and the direction of the wind, that if we travel over to the river and I light my little bonfire, I got some smoke that I can send up, slightly blue, that Breezy knows. They might meet us by the side of the lake.
Oh, but are we getting chased by people? Oh, be quiet. There's so many guards around. We don't want to attract
Oh,
attention.
you went into... I saved you from guards, Rain.
And now
When Rain looked at her finger and held it up and then was looking around, when she looked the other way, Laura went,
You felt a breeze just then, right?
I would like to go near where either the lake or river, where we might find some fisherfolk, for I believe they would have lead that I could purchase, which I'm very concerned to do.
Oh yeah.
So that I can give thee back thy cloak, Budge.
How much lead does thee need?
Not a great deal, but it is a common ingredient in the weights used in fishing nets. So if I can
I have
one, I
fishing
can
tackle.
melt it down and build the box.
All right. Let's go.
All right.
oh, to meet Breezy,
Yes.
can I just say that in my blood, I know this is a very bad idea.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Sorry. Some of the best adventures come from bad ideas. I know as fact.
You know what? Usually the
Aye.
look in such a direction, right?
Aye.
It's a greater omen.
All right then. You would know, Budge, based on your position nearby Hergor's lair, that you've got a pretty solid day and change of travel ahead of you to get back to the river. So you can make a survival check, and I'll let you know how good a time you make. You can make it with advantage because you've got Peeves and Tarosso, very familiar with the area.
There you go.
There's a good time. 21 for us to shout out Matt Day, our technomancer and creator of Rollcast, which lets us roll these slick virtual dice. With a 21, Budge and Peeves, you make very good time. The waters haven't changed much since your journey here the days before, so you're able to pick a pretty similar route when you made such good time over the last day or two. Over the course of the day, you can generally keep moving, taking short breaks for meals and stuff like that.
Wait, I have things to say.
We can absolutely have little cutscenes throughout. As I know, the Cane Band does not fast travel.
The Cane Band can't fast travel.
So if you do have things you want to bring up on the trip, we can have some cutscenes. So, Rain, you've got a conversation you want to have with somebody. Tell me about it. We'll cut to that.
Finn,
Yes, Rain.
have you been in love?
Oh, Rain. 'Tis a question with no answer, for does the heart's pattern run to the same rhythm of time? I think not. And though I have not loved yet, I think that I have loved in the time to come. I don't know, Rain.
Still have family alive?
There are none that I am close to. You are my family, Rain.
Oh. Yeah. I did wonder, for I do know Broccoli's family, and Elora is so old, and her family traits, and I had not heard of yours.
Oh, I have not thought of them in a long time. I left my home very early to walk upon the boards, and I have not thought about it since.
After a terrible scandal?
Nay, I'm just a very fickle creature, Rain. Thou hast seen me. Anytime I become close to someone, I run away, as I did with you all at Mother Sawyer's.
And yet you came back the very same day.
Yeah, I did. Yes, the very same day. It felt like an age, but yet was but one day. Yes, thou hast changed me, Rain. I cannot quite describe it.
Oh, that gladdens my heart, Finn. That
But
is...
Rain, how art thee? For though thy heart's love is close to thee, you cannot open it.
You are talking about my first love, who is now a book.
I indeed.
We did end our relationship before she turned into a book, and I am ready to move on.
Young love, swift but powerful, so they say.
I'm ready for and I wish we spent more time where there was ale and less time where there was forests.
'Tis been a long time since thou hast had an ale, Rain.
I know, we got so close when we were going to Budge's family. I am sure they would have had ale.
But perhaps Budge's smuggler friend hath smuggled a good keg or two.
Oh,
Perhaps he could put it upon the smoke signal. Bringeth ale.
oh, this does change everything.
Other folks looking to pull people aside or have chats as you're going along? And or is Rain looking to do the same with others?
Broccoli,
Here we go.
Irene.
how thou feeling?
Oh, well, my mind at this moment as we journey, I am ruminating on all the lessons of love that I have learned, so that I can transcribe them into the book that I did promise Glee. I do suspect that upon completion of the book, perhaps Glee will return from her book form. The book I make will free her from her bookish curse. This is my belief, and yet perhaps I am wrong. Only one way to find out, and that is to complete the book I promised her. Because a promise is a promise, Rain. Even if those you promised turn into a book, you cannot renege on the promises that thou hast made to them. And this I know. If I were to promise thee a thing, Rain, no matter what form thou took, I would this promise keep.
Ah, that is what I know of you, Broccoli. You are very loyal.
Yes. But later on, Rain, later on, hey, when they're lighting the fire, maybe you and I should scarper off a little bit, and you could do a little wolf ritual on me, and maybe we could test the wolf. We go hide behind a tree and let some blood and that sort of thing. Maybe we could get a little woofy.
I do think we will need the whole band's help. If you do lose control, I cannot take you out.
Ugh. What if I promised that I would not lose control, and then, as thou knowest, this promise I would keep no matter what form thou had, or perhaps what form I took? So if I was to take a wolfish form and lose control, this promise would in my mind ring, and I would not be able to break that promise to thee.
Aye, that just makes sense, and I shall have my silver shackles very close.
Excellent. Oh, nefarious wolfpack business. We should tattoos get, Rain. Tattoos.
Yes! Oh, yes!
The moon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Budge.
What?
Nothing.
Hi, Rain.
Can you do moon tattoos?
Certainly.
There we go.
How good art thou at tattoos, Alora?
What wishest thou for tattoos, Rain? Sorry, broccoli design is a core part of it. Jeweler's art. I can draw.
We should have been getting tattoos every time we stopped. That could have been transcribing all of our adventures on our flesh.
Rain, wishest thou for a tattoo?
Aye, me and Broccoli shall have matching tattoos.
Maybe we shall think on this for a while.
Yes, until we reach there. Budge,
What?
are we there yet?
No!
Oh, I will keep chatting then.
Yes, sure you will.
Keep thy patience, Rain. There is no magical way for us to skip the time it takes for us to journey from one point to another, Rain. Thou knowest this. So thou must patient be.
Aye. Why is your friend called Breezy, Budge?
I don't know. It's their nickname.
Are they naked?
No. What? Well, I mean, probably at some point in their life, they've been naked.
Oh, yeah, I knew, yeah.
You know what, Rain? What do you even know, Rain? Their proper name
Their
is
proper name.
Bryn Pendergast, I believe. Though it's not a name that I'd encourage you to say around much.
Probably not. No, Finn, you speak.
Have we not met Pendergast before?
Not with me.
We have.
Which Pendergast is that? Oh,
And how
refresh my
did
memory, Finn.
it go with them?
Were they not quite a wealthy family? 'Tis on the tip of my memory. From probably only a week ago. When I really
Right, let's
think
stop
about
moving. Let's stop moving. Peeps, stop.
Let me
We're
just
Bastion. We're Bastion. We're having a rest.
I'm going through
can't hear
my
The distance.
my mind is just Just trying to remember. The
Then
scroll
roll
of
a-
my
roll a-
memory.
On a blonde hair, elfish.
Did we kill one of them? This is the question we need to answer. Have we in some way murdered a member of this family, and should caution take?
Donna, is it possible you're thinking of the mage Vandermast?
Possibly.
Okay.
I know Vander.
Have we not met a Pendergast?
It's similar.
Sounds very familiar.
Great if I just don't know.
As we know, if a surname sounds like another surname, they are probably related. Vandermast and Pendergast are probably brother and sister and brother.
Right, but you haven't killed anyone called Pendergast. And I'll look at each member of the caveman in the eyes.
We have not.
Nay,
Nay.
Nay.
tis a promise thee can make to me.
Most likely not.
I do not remember every name of every person I have killed.
Some were nameless henchmen. Part of the truth. That we never got to know more than that they were fleeting in our company and then gone by our hand.
Well, I think
Right.
thee would remember.
The lizard people on the rocks, I do not know their names.
Could have been a Pendergast.
Mm-hmm.
The guard that you ripped their head off could have been a Pendergast.
You did what? You ripped the head off a guard.
In
Aye.
Rain is quite terrifying indeed.
I mean, I've seen. I just never have ever seen a head be ripped off. So,
I shall show you the next time we
Nay.
have you, Budge.
tis fine. Tis fine. Tis not needed. Well, it sounds like we're okay. If it were Vandermast, then let's go talk to Breezy.
Easy breezy.
So as the sun is setting on this day,
Where did the day go?
yeah, it just flew by while you were hiking and making your way through the swamps and having conversations, talking about true love. The day
Time for our daily sunset debrief, everyone.
Well,
and
you do not need to take a potion.
No, I feel so liberated. I felt shackled to the potion, and it. Although we did taste it, was starting to taste quite nice. Now you got to sacrifice some things for the way of the wolf.
so, how are you going with your camp setup? What's your plan for taking your rest? I'll assume that you can find a good spot, Budge, based on your survival check and prior trips.
Tiny hut.
Oh, I love the dome. I'm a big fan of the dome.
And whatever the boys have picked up for today's tea.
Oh,
Oh yeah, today's tea.
of course, I didn't forget.
No.
What's the immediate? Is there anything immediately around? I can just.
Make a survival check.
And I will just go and make sure that Webastion is well placed, and I'll quickly go and Scarpa looking for.
Yeah.
12. Even with a horrible roll, Budge's got some serviceable findings. Let's see how Broccoli does.
What am I rolling? Survival.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. Survival.
Come on, Broccoli. Oh, come on, Broccoli. I'm in a rush. Anything.
Broccoli, as you go off hectically searching for Webastion finds you. And as you're looking around, you don't realize that he's right up on you. You whirl around and you basically collide. And he bumps you into some muck. So you sit down and like your hands in the muck of the swamp, you can like pull them up. And there's like these weird growths in the clods of muck that you've got. Like little spherical kind of puff balls of some sort. Hard to say what they are. Budge, on the other hand, you managed to find something you know to be called fungus. Fungus, which is a kind of fibrous root, and it looks almost like a moss, and it grows on the sides of exposed embankments above the waterline. And you know that if you dry it out for a little bit over the fire, it becomes really aromatic, and it has a kind of peppery taste. If you can use it to flavor things by putting it in the water, for example.
I'll start making tea with that.
Good news, all. I found a couple of mud nuggets. So all is well. I'll rinse off my little mud nuggets, and we shall flavor some today's tea have.
Really, I've not heard of
Well, then you
Mud
were in for a treat, good Budge.
Oh.
Very rare to stumble upon these sweet treasures of the swamp.
Broccoli, are you showing those to Budge?
Yeah, check them.
Okay.
Look at them.
Budge, make a nature check if you're curious.
Label
I'm
bomb.
very good at nature.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need to be. No matter how you look at them, they're delicious.
Okay. Wait.
Ooh, get him in that tea. They look good, don't they, Budge? They look real good. Yeah. As far as mud nuggets
Budge,
go, pretty good ones.
You've seen things like this. They look sort of like there are certain kinds of plants and fungi that have sort of these brittle shells that when you crunch them, they release spores. That's like their reproduction cycle. The best you can tell, it looks sort of like something like that.
Wait, they got like dust in them? What's the deal with?
I'm sure, yeah, I mean, if you, I mean...
No, I just want to know for when I find them next time, if I want to make the tea again. How do you, like, put them in?
I normally just rinse them off and throw them in the pot. That's
easy.
That's how I like my mud nuggets. I'm not worrying about any finesse, none of your fancy cooking. I'm not entering, Master Chef here in the forest, am I?
Right then. Well, I've already got the bungus fungus on the boil, so chuck them in.
As the water begins to boil, and even if you're holding it above the water to dry it out a little bit first, there's this kind of spicy scent to the air, really earthy as well. Kind of like ground black pepper, but also like this heavy aroma of like wet earth. That sort of note to it. It's not bad. And do you put the mud nuggets in the water as well?
Yeah, I've rinsed them off.
Okay.
And I just chuck them both in.
They're floating in there like wontons, basically, just sort of bobbing around in the water as the water goes like this kind of muddy brown to almost black color from fungus. So there you have that. So that'll be steeping for a bit.
It'll be good.
They do look like sheep poo.
Well, they do, don't they?
Oh, if I'd found that, it would have been for a real treat.
How long are we to be in the forest for? It's a brief question that I have.
Oh,
As pleasant as it is.
We are not of the forest like you, Budge.
Oh, perhaps we could have our first session of Heruatrulingo. That could teach us some of the ways of the language of the forest. How wouldst thou say, gather round?
Well, it depends who I was speaking to.
To the birds. How could we say, showtime?
Budge will try and say showtime in Sylvan, as if he was talking to a bird.
Yep, and you hear Budge do this like trilling whistle that has like a short beginning and then like a long like undulating trill at the end.
Oh, that's pretty.
You try broccoli.
Okay, here I go. Oh, now remember, this is all right. First tries. Oh, I think I dislocated my larynx.
Budge, what you hear when Broccoli does that is like, hey, yeah, ooh, pineapple.
Right.
Was that close, Budge?
No, not at all. Not even close.
It's hard to get the downward inflection with my big mouth.
How
Wait.
I will try.
No, Rain, they are just whistling. It's not birdsong.
Oh, I'll never learn that dumb
Oh,
language.
do not take it to heart. I'm not the best teacher for these sorts of things. It's quite
What's
a weird language.
What's the easiest word to say in the language of the forest?
Well, again, it depends what you're speaking to. It's like, it's not...
What's a generic, like, you know how we can easily say hi to people and it's quite short and sharp? Is there a nice short, sharp greeting that would endear us to the forest folk?
Broccoli, I do not think Budge knows how to speak this language.
It's true. He did claim to be able to speak giant, and yet his grasp of the language was almost comical.
The weird thing about Sylvan is
Yes.
that, like, it's the language of Fae, of any creature of the forest. So, like, it sounds different depending on who you're talking to and who's saying it. It's not really something I know how to say each word. It's more just like, I know it. Oh, it's like a vibe.
All right. You got to tap into the rhythm of the forest to be able to converse in the language.
For a bird's gonna say hello and hi very differently to a badger.
What did Badger say, Budge?
Ooh.
It was like a badger. You're a budger. That's what you are when you speak like that. Right.
Budger, 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 the Budger, Budger, the Budger.
We have not been utilizing your ability to converse with the forest dwellers, Budge.
Well, most creatures can't speak back, so there isn't much point to it a lot of the time.
Thou speaks truth.
What languages else does thou speak, Budge?
Well, I mean, Goblin. I guess. Oh, there's this weird language that there were these. When I was underground for some time with my family, there were these people we met, and they spoke a very strange language that was like what we speak, but I don't know how to describe it. Except it was like more underground.
It's a subterranean common.
Gravelly?
Yeah, like gravelly, subterranean. Yeah, again, I know how these languages, but I've never written any of them down, and I don't really. It's sort of like if you learn a word in another language, that's just that word in your language. Like, I've never separated any of these in my mind. It wasn't like, oh, one day I came up and I said, oh, I'm going to learn how to speak Sylvan or something. You just learn more bits until suddenly, without knowing it, you know more than one language.
I know not how to speak it, but I believe the language thou art referring to in common, Budge, is known as undercommon.
Oh. Well, why aren't we upper common?
Well, that's
Who made that choice?
You've got to be up in the air to be upper common. We're just
Sky
mid
common.
we're mid-range common.
Middle
I
common.
know
It's just common. We're common.
you can be undercommon and you can be upper common, but can you just be common?
In Europe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Budge, would you like to signal your friend before or after I perform a ritual on Broccoli?
Are we at the right place for the signal?
Yeah, how close to are we near where we can do it?
So you know that after camping tonight, you'll be able to get by early to mid-morning. The next morning, you'll be able to get to the point along the River Gad where there's a bit of a highland overlooking it, and you usually set your fire from there.
So tomorrow's the day for the signal.
Oh,
Wow.
let's do it after the signal, maybe.
Oh, nay, we have no plans for tonight now.
Oh, I've got to dry out the dragon hide, but you do whatever you need to do.
I can assist thee, Budge.
Oh, that'd be good.
Should we go for a walk, Rain?
Sure. Perhaps not just us. Finn, perhaps you should come.
Should I, Rain?
Could be a tale worthy of a song.
I shall bring my lute.
but prepare your. You have a door to another dimension.
The dream?
Yes. For you will need to run away quick if Broccoli turns and loses control, and then I
Oh.
lose control.
Yes,
Still close
yes,
enough
my
that I would
dimension.
hear that. Dost thou wish to take these, Rain? And I'll pull out the silver chain and padlock.
Oh, thank you, Alora. That will be very helpful.
Yeah.
And
What are
Broccoli,
they doing?
remember, and Finn, thou canst speak to me at any point, anywhere, if thou needs Budge my assistance.
Okay. Oh, and we'll bring Webastian as well, and he might be able
Oh,
to
yes.
spray me in web as some sort of last resort.
As if
I'll
on
let him
cue,
know.
Webastion like comes scuttling up and stands up with. There are 2 trees close enough that he can put 4 of his limbs up against them and the other 4 on the ground, and like have his web shooter at the ready.
Terrifying.
We're ready.
Nightmare.
A cogent reminder that this is a large creature, so horse-sized.
Yeah.
That is insane. There are going to be people hunting that thing. I guarantee it.
No. Okay. All right. All right.
Well,
Wolf
then-
girl, teaching wolf boy. Wolf girl, teaching wolf boy. It's like as we walk away.
Wait. Broccoli, you may want to say goodbye, for if you die, you won't get a chance.
Ah, true. Good magical cane band members who will not be attending the ritual. If I see thee no more, know this: thou wert as close to my heart as any creatures could be. Thou hast been my faithful companions on stage and off, and I will think of thee fondly as the sweet grip of death overcomes me. And may your lives be ever rich and full of shows and of wealth and of boats. Good morrow to thee.
I have much faith in the strength of thy arms, Broccoli, but not near as much as I do in the strength of thy heart. We will see thee again.
I'll be back for dinner.
Wait, say that in Badger. Say it in Badger, Badger. Well, this I cannot resist. I shall be back to hear more from thee, good Badger.
All right. So, Rain, Broccoli, and Finn, the 3 of you are going to do this. Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah. Just checking in.
I know it. Sounds entertaining.
Tell me,
Have
tell
thou
me,
thought
Rain,
the
about how you're
roles?
setting this up.
So we need to bleed Broccoli until he turns and then is able to turn back again on his own. And if he can't turn back on his own, then he will die.
Maybe Budge does need help for dinner. I'm wondering if maybe. Okay.
Finn, I feel that thy musical accompaniment can only serve to steel my resolve and assist my power of will.
The surgical music. Does that wish for something of a more temperate, gentle tone? Or shall I play something quite upbeat?
I think
Rain?
something pulsating, something like Eye of the Wolf, something like that.
And
Like something like bum, 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 bum. Is that's right?
Rhythmic.
I will speak to Broccoli's blood at the same time, for there is 2 dangerous parts. You do have to transform.
Yes.
If you do not transform, you will die from the bloodletting. And if you do not transform back, you will kill us both.
Okay.
Well, what a
So
way
you
to
will
go.
have me shackled, though. You will have me safely shackled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. All right. It makes it harder for you to want to fight back again. But we can do that if thou prefers it.
No, whatever thou thinks is the right course of ritual, so too shall I be led by thee, Rain.
Aye. Finn, you will hold the silver handcuffs and the silver chain and padlock. And if everything gets out of control, you shall throw with all your might over Broccoli.
Yes.
Worst case scenario bracelets, that's what they are.
That makes it sound all the better. I feel much more comfortable.
And Webastian, you're ready?
Ready.
If it looks like things are getting out of control, Webastian, you cocoon me, baby. Just cocoon me real good.
I'm just
Broccoli.
going
Aye.
You will hurt me?
This is most unlikely. But if I do turn to thee with a look of danger in mine eyes, and thou can cocoon me not, then thou shouldst flee. Webastian, thou shouldst flee upwards. But I trust that I shall cause thee no harm.
I trust thee, Broccoli.
Over on the other side of the camp, I'll just say, Budge, one moment, and I'll just turn and look at the empty air next to me, and I'll be like, maybe go and take the chain from Finn, in case it's safer for you to put it on Broccoli than her. And then in Finn's head, I'll say, Finn, I'm sending thee a pair of hands that might be safer than putting thyself at risk. And
Thank you.
Have you sent your unseen servant over there with the
Yeah,
chains?
to hold the
Okay.
chain, because he can be up next to Broccoli and not get injured.
Oh, good. Oh, this is better because now Finn can play the lute. I was worried that holding the worst case scenario bracelets would rob me of the musical accompaniment. Now we have Invisible Butler. I love Invisible Butler.
So, I'm going to first just rip a bit of my skin open and use the blood to make a circle and lie you down on the circle.
Good.
But Rain, you will take a little bit of damage from doing that. This is just like the use of one of your bonus actions where you let your magic. So whatever your Blood Hunter die is, it's either a D6 or a D8 at this point. I'm not sure.
Right.
Roll one of those.
Lovely. And I am going to cut Broccoli, but as I cut him, I am also going to do the brand of castigation so that I can find him wherever he goes.
Tell us what it looks like when
Gosh.
A, when you're doing this circle, and B, how do you put a brand on Broccoli? What does that look like?
So I first of all, with the circle, I've just cut along my arm and I'm letting the blood drip into the dirt where I've already done a huge circle so that Broccoli can lie down, just lie down in the middle of the circle. And then when it comes to the branding, because this is part of the ritual, usually I do it different when I'm attacking someone, but because it's part of the ritual, I managed to get just 2 of my claws to come out. And then I just lift up his top on his shirt, and then I just scratch a W,
Diggles.
on his chest.
When that happens, as the W completes, Broccoli, there's a white light, a silvery white light where the cuts are, and it pulses. And as it pulses, it sort of no longer bleeds, but is just there in the flesh, like blood halted mid-flow. Just a red W glowing faintly against your skin.
You also suffer 2 points of psychic damage.
Oh.
Big migraine comes your way just instantly.
Why has thou put an M on me? The M stands for.
It is a wolf. It is a W to everybody else.
Oh, of course.
Broccoli, are you ready to embrace the wolf and then to fight it out?
Rain. I believe I am.
Hi. I pull out. I turn into a wolf.
Right. A
Yeah.
sight you have seen many times before.
Yep. I turn into a wolf, and then I use my claws to slit open his veins in both of his arms. So he's going like that, and I slit them both open, so they start really splurting blood out. And
Broccoli.
the blood goes out into the circle and starts going around the circle.
Broccoli, as this happens, you notice this strange flow of blood. It is not just dropping to the ground normally. It begins to snake its way over to that channel that Rain has carved, as though by its own volition. Before, when you were meditating, and you were able to hear the thrum of your heart and the motion of your blood, that was like a tremor compared to the earthquake that you're experiencing now. There is a ringing, a loud thrumming ringing in your ears, and that little bit of a headache that you got at the start is now like consistent with the beat of every beat of your heart. Woom, woom, woom. And the pulse in your brand is going in time to your heartbeat, and the blood is moving in fits and starts with every beat of your heart. And then filling that channel, it begins to move, so that the independent bits of blood that Rain let out are now joining each other in the thinner trench around. And for you, the noise is deafening. For those of you outside the circle, you can now begin to hear a faint thrumming hum, low, distant, like almost like a beast that's far away, that is hunting you, or you are hunting it, one of the other. The first beginnings of a growl, but it's faint.
Finn, climb the tree.
Bum, 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 bum.
Rain, you playing your music?
Oh, shit we do in the forest.
Then you begin your epic combat anthem. And in its way, actually, Finn, make a performance check. This will be fun.
Shivers me timbers. Where's me performance? Okay, it's rolling.
Go on, Finn.
Oh, so
bad.
good. Still good. Okay. Finn's a pro. Finn begins this rip-roaring kind of smashing lute sort of march. I imagine it's got like hand percussion on the lute as well as like hard strums. How do you picture it?
So it's hand percussion, it's strumming, and then there's also flute breaks every so often. To drop the lute to do a quick flute break, but also like
She's doing the loop.
yeah, the lute
Oh
and flute.
Loot flute.
She's a 1/2 elf band.
She's doing the you're loot and flute.
Flute and baby, driving me crazy.
Budge, please take an inspiration point for that. That's yours. Oh my god. Okay. Broccoli. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead. Finn.
Oh, just as I'm playing, I realize if I'm doing enough of it, I can give some inspiration should anyone need it at any time during this chaos that's about to happen.
You absolutely can. Yeah, it only costs you a bonus action unless you're doing a different feature of your inspiration. But yeah, would you like to give Bardic Inspiration to anyone?
I think I would give it to Rain.
Wait!
Yep.
Wait! Do not give it to me! Give it to the wolf! So to help him transform back to human! Wait for that moment!
All right, I'll do Broccoli.
Now, all of you have seen Rain do this free whisper to her arm before, when she's been doing her blood curses, like the blood curse of the anxious, where she made the guards terrified. All of you are hearing this similar sound, but Broccoli, to you, it sounds very different. Alongside that kind of low thrumming background sound that has become deafening to you, there is now this harmonizing voice that is whispering something amongst it. And that harmony, it's harmony, but it's discordant. It's this like strange minor register with clashing chords almost. And in a strange way, it is underscoring Finn's march, like this kind of competing melody working up against that. You can hear Rain's voice. So I wonder, Rain, when you are whispering to your blood and to Broccoli's blood through the curse, what do you think Rain says?
Caress his soul, keep his spirit.
That's what you hear in Rain's voice. The Rain's voice begins to shift. Each repetition of that phrase, caress his soul, keep his spirit, over and over again, the voice begins to multiply. And then it begins to deepen. It acquires a kind of guttural sound. Caress, keep. There's higher and lower pitched versions of it, until eventually those growls elongate and become howls, yips. Rain, the ritual is ready to keep proceeding. You have already cut Broccoli once. Broccoli, over the course of this, if I'm correct, Rain, the effect of transformation happens once you hit half of your hit points or fewer. Is that right? And that's when
Right.
the saving throws begin? Okay. So Broccoli, you're going to take some real damage here over the course of this time. If you are permitting it to happen, we don't have to roll out each bit of damage or anything, but
So good.
take your hit point total. As long as you allow this to happen, take it to half.
Okay.
Once you have done that, change begins to overcome you, Broccoli. Those growls and yips and whines and howls in your ear begin to resonate, and you can feel them in your own body, as if you are called to match them. You can feel, again, it just roiling in the pit of your stomach. Your body's beginning to shake, holding back the urge to shout, to keep echoing the words that you're hearing. Broccoli, the wolf is in you. Right now, you have a choice. You can try to fight it, avoid transforming, or you can give in.
I release the wolf. Release the wolf. It's 4
Right.
o'clock.
Broccoli, I'd like for you to tell us, as the change begins to take you and the fur begins to come from your skin, there are cracking sounds as your bones begin to and displace, your ribs moving upward as your torso slightly lengthens, your forearms elongating, and your hands beginning to elongate as each of your fingers grows probably an inch longer, and your fingernails replaced by curving, yellowed, bone-colored claws. Tell us what Broccoli's wolf looks like.
I mean, big. It's a big wolf. I mean, I don't know much about wolves. What do wolves look like?
Yeah. Do you imagine? Yeah, like the coloration of your fur, any of that stuff. It's up to you.
Yeah,
Broccoli have any hair? Did you just grow a bunch of hair?
yeah. This is it. This is the hairiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But grey. I imagine I'm a grey, like a grey wolf, a fully grey wolf.
Yeah. Much like Broccoli's normal skin tone. But this time, the armor that Broccoli is wearing, all of that stuff, it stays on. But his skin is replaced by this gray fur, and his head is where the change is really the most pronounced. His sort of chin begins to stretch, and the skin around his mouth begins to peel back as long fangs begin to emerge where his teeth were. And then his snout moves forward, becoming precisely that. His eyes, those big, soft, warm, broccoli brown eyes, become yellow, and the pupils more slit-like. Broccoli, suddenly, you can smell everything. And in your mind, it's no longer like just snarls and howls, but Rain's words again. But you're understanding the words as howls and growls, and that strange sound that everyone else hears around the circle. She is singing to your blood, and your blood is responding. You can feel that song in your veins, and you are hungry. You are so hungry. There's a smell of the bush tea at camp. There's a smell of snakes and frogs and small swamp pigs and hogs that are nearby. You can smell a nest of them hundreds of meters away. But right in front of you, bleeding, fresh, the arms of Rain, wolfed out, staring at you with those yellow wolf eyes. And it smells heavenly. Now, everything in you is calling out to Rain's blood and to the creature who is up a tree playing a song up in front of you, as yet untouched. And you have this overwhelming urge, just like a dog that has treed a raccoon or something like that. It's like, there it is. There it is. But Rain is closest, so you have released the wolf. Now the wolf wants you to kill. Rain is closest. It is compelling you. Kill. Do you try to resist?
I do.
Then I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. And bear in mind, Finn has given you Bardic Inspiration if you wish to use it.
Okay. Wisdom save.
Oh, I've got good wisdom. Oh, I've got proficiency for something in that.
Mm-hmm. You also have your aura.
Yeah, and my aura. Anyway, it's good. That's helpful. Come on, fight the wolf. Be the wolf. That's not good, Broccoli.
Can I give my lute, flute, and baby
So wait.
inspiration?
What have you done here?
What is the
Broccoli?
Bardic Inspiration?
You can. What is it? A D8 from you, Finn? Now
It's a D8. Yeah.
you can add a
Did I have
D8.
to say that beforehand?
Well, two things actually. One, this saving, the DC for this save is not very high. So you did not declare that you were using the Bardic Inspiration, which is okay. The good news is that in this case, you have hit the DC. Generally speaking, for Rain, the DC is 8. I did set it to 10 for this because it's your first time and you've never done anything like this. However, we'll treat this in terms of like combat for this moment. Broccoli whirling around and staring at Rain. Rain, you can see he's fighting this urge and is beginning to raise his claws and take a kind of predatory crouch. But Broccoli, as you take a breath and ready yourself to leap, you hear a familiar voice. Keep your pack. Keep your pack. And the singing in your blood thrums softer for a moment. Rain, you can see that Broccoli has kept himself from moving now, but it's moment to moment. The blood around the side of your circle now begins to shift. It is moving the opposite direction, and individual globules of blood begin to rise. So that the two of you enclosed in this circle, those from the outside can see in the dim light of sunset that there is like a kind of watery blood wall that has lots of gaps in it of air, but about 3, 4 feet, 5 feet high. there is just this undulating mass of blood droplets that are closing the two of you in. Rain, do you do anything during this time as Broccoli is doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
As I continue my chant, but my chant has changed, and what it is it's actually starting to cool all of this blood back into his veins.
Okay. In that case, the outcome of that will be determined by what follows next. Broccoli, it's time for you to make another wisdom saving throw.
Come on, my dice rolling has been terrible this whole session.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Broccoli, you again feel that urge that just involuntarily brings you forward. But then again, the voice in your head, not Rain's, the woman you saw, both in your most recent meditation and in the vision you had aboard a ship with the Heathertons, standing beside your ruined village, again in your mind. Vengeance is for the strong, Broccoli, and the strong run together. On that word together, motes of this blood, both yours and Rain's, begin to move towards your arms where there's bleeding fur, and the blood begins to mott, clot, and reform, streams of it coming forward into your arms. You feel, as it races through your veins, like its own pack moving through your arms into your chest. And then the voice in that blood grows quiet. I would like for you, Rain, to roll a d6. I think that's your Blood Hunter die, isn't it? That you add for extra damage and such, unless it's moved up to a d8 by now. I don't think it does that for a bit.
What?
When you do your, just roll a d6. Yeah.
D6. Usually plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I will just roll a d6.
Okay. Broccoli, you may heal yourself 5 points.
Ooh.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that takes you back above your 50% mark, right?
Yes. I mean, I had temporary hit points. Should I not have factored that in when I did half?
We'll say you did what you had to do to get rid of. So you would have gotten rid of the temporary hit points first before going down to half. So we can assume those are gone.
Okay. All right. So it was half of my normal maximum that I went down to.
Yeah.
Which is 34 plus 5 is all right. So I'm just going to readjust my.
Now, Broccoli.
Okay. Yes. All good.
With that urging voice, the voice telling you must kill, quiet it. You still feel that thrumming energy, that need to howl to join your pack. But it's not associated with that bloodlust anymore. It's not wild. It's not impossible to stop. If you want to, you can let it out. Does Broccoli howl?
Is that... Well, can I howl without losing control? Is that what you...
Yeah, that's it. You can do it now.
Yeah.
Before you felt it.
100%.
You felt it like that was going to be the signal. Like that was going to be the thing. When you finally let loose, it was going to burst from your chest, and then the blood wrath was going to begin. Now, you feel that you can wield it like your hammer. Broccoli, standing more than 8 feet tall in front of you, and now covered in the fur of a gray mountain wolf, reaches back, his head towering up to his full height, and then lets out this blood-curdling, ear-splitting howl that then just reverberates throughout the low swamps. Birds in trees leap up and begin flying away, squawking. Crows and ravens and crane and other things into the night. Rain, do you join?
Yeah, but I am so excited. I'm like doing parkour off Broccoli, like running off and bouncing off and like running off and like howling. Broccoli!
Yeah. Pain.
Oh,
Pain. Yeah. This, I mean, right. Whoa.
Finn! Don't tell Alora! Let's play a trick!
Rain and Broccoli, as that howl finishes, as your howls finish, in the far distance, after 5, 6, 8 seconds, you hear an answer. 1 wolf, 2 wolves, 3 wolves, far, far away, but audible, splitting through the clear night. They have heard you, and they are sounding out in a kind of acknowledgement. Pack to pack, we hear you.
We are family.
How's Ben doing up in the tree?
Finn is like freaked the fuck out. Like there's 2 wolves down there doing like chest bumps. It's horrifying. There's blood, like a blood circle.
Yeah, they're both fucking soaked in blood all over their arms. Like all this blood has like flown back at Broccoli. It's spattered all over him.
I mean, it's definitely cool. Like Finn knows that it's cool, but Finn is also like really just freaked out.
And just in her head, I'll say, "Sounds like it worked then." But no, I can't see what's going on.
I mean, yes, all is well, Alora. Worry not.
Right.
Prepare the tea.
Oh, I can smell those mud nuggets.
So Broccoli and Rain, are they still wolfed out? Are they still werewolves?
Both
But, like,
of
they
them
can talk
can
to
be
each other?
werewolves for an
And
hour.
Can you so you can talk to each other? Are you just like growling to each other, or are you speaking in like regular common?
You're both able to speak common.
Yeah, we're just
Normal.
speaking regular common. I can usually talk to you guys when I'm in common.
Oh, yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
in
yeah.
werewolf.
Yeah. Finn, thy song was. Without thy song, I would perhaps have lost my way, but thy powerful tune did lure me back to the straight and narrow.
I'm glad for it, Broccoli. Hast thou seen thine own new reflection? Perhaps a small trip to the water, so that I might see thyself in all your wolfed grandeur, which is very tall.
Such hair! Is it on my head? Oh, look at me!
Thou art a sight to behold, Broccoli. Thou art a sight to behold.
Oh,
Yeah,
you,
right.
you and Web Sebastian could have a race.
Oh, Sebastian, is there not a type of spider that is a wolf spider? Perhaps I could dismiss Sebastian in his current form and bring him back as a wolf spider, and that way he too could be part of the wolf pack.
I would like to be part of the wolf pack.
Then it shall be done, Sebastian. When we have a moment, I do but need 10 minutes to dismiss thee and bring thee back in thy new true form. For I do need to grow much more powerful to give thee thy desired form of a winged steed. But this wolf spider form shall serve thee well until such time as thy wings shall be thine.
I do eagerly anticipate them both. And then Sebastian howls in your head.
Oh, this is good. And how about the Invisible Butler?
Some floating silver manacles in front of you.
And I think to Alora, does thy Invisible Butler have a name?
Oh, Broccoli, art thou well?
Oh, more than well. I am Wolf Well, the wellest of all.
Indeed, the unseen servant does have a name. That thou may address him thus. His name is Giles.
Oh, good Giles. I shall think of a name more befitting thee, an invisible butler. Giles.
And the chain just goes woo in the air.
Yeah. Oh, you got the moves in you, Giles. Jiggly Giles! It's Jiggly Giles!
10 seconds. 10 seconds flat. It was already done. Does our new wolf pack return to camp then? Still wolfed?
All right, and Giles will have to continue to carry the silver.
Come, Jiggly.
And I've already said to Budge, Finn assured me all is well.
Right. What exactly were they doing?
And I come running into camp. Please, run!
Thieves is just bolting. Just like, boom.
And Bud shoots me with his one wolf slayer arrow.
Broccoli, art thou well?
Oh,
This thing
look at how hairy I am hirsute.
is most amazing, my friend. I'm glad that it worked.
Yes,
And I'm
hirsutes
angry
me just
that
fine.
that's such an unsafe thing.
Oh. But sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, Alora. Thou knowest this.
I do indeed, and clearly thou hast met with success. Congratulations, my friend.
Not only will this come in handy should we find ourselves in a scrape, no doubt, but also such shows can we perform here now. I need not even costume or makeup to hear this transformation make.
Art thou permanently thus, or canst thou return to thy Goliath familiar form?
I can. Oh, I did not check. Rain, am I forever the wolf form? I mean,
Nay.
if so, I shall accept it. And yet, I did hope to swap back and forth as thou dost.
Aye, you are a werewolf, not a wolf. And the were is the Goliath.
Haha, nice. A wolf Goliath, a Goliath wolf.
I cannot wait to see what you can do in a battle.
On arms, Broccoli. You're bleeding. Would there like some form of healing?
Well, I would like some of today's tea. I could smell it while I was transforming, and it was most unctuously powerful.
Help yourself. I haven't tried it yet, but
Rain, thou art also bleeding. Wouldst thou care to be healed?
Aye.
Your wounds.
Okay. Those of you who are casting spells, you can roll and let us know how you go.
Budge will, while you're getting some tea, we'll try and cast Old Nan's Balm.
Oh,
Broccoli.
Yeah.
Alora, I
Rain.
am good. I just used my temporary hit points.
Mayhap I can assist Broccoli with his wounds. Then.
Okay, so
Does thou need assistance, or do you think you're fine on their own?
I think this will be all right.
is
I think this should do it.
is this the first time you've used Old Nan's Bomb, Budge?
It is.
I think so.
Yeah. Just checking it.
What are you whipping up there, Budge?
So Budge will take some sort of like some of the mud
Ugh.
and sort of copying how Mother Sawyer used to get like the mud onto her hands for like some of her sort of spell casting in
Classic
a sort of very
medicine.
druidic way. We'll sort of place the mud over the wounds up and down the arms of Broccoli, and you sort of feel like, and over the course of like 10 minutes, you sort of see like what must have been like little seeds or grass or something, or like whatever might have been ungrowing in that mud starts to sprout. as your natural healing is sort of accelerated, and you can roll 3 of your hit die, or you can spend 3 of your hit die, just sort of instantly as soon as it finishes casting, and add +3 to it as well.
So Broccoli, your hit die are d10s. So if you want to, you can roll 3d10 +3 and heal that much over the course of that 10 minutes.
Ah.
And you would spin those 3. These are usually things you would use in a short rest sometimes. But
Okay.
Oh,
Basically,
actually,
like I'm-
because I cast it at 2nd level, you can roll 6,
wow.
6 d10s.
but they are taken from your hit die. So you would
Oh.
feel tired at the end of this spell, like sort of like just like rush out of you as your natural healing sort of gets like sped up.
Okay. I love it.
So like it's not like a cure wounds where it like fixes it with no scars. You would probably
Yeah.
have like the
do I get
spell.
hit die back? How's that work?
Long rest.
After a long rest, yeah.
Oh, we're about to have one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Unless we get attacked by wolves. I feel better.
Yeah, that's all. It's pretty incredible, Broccoli, and strange. You can cast curing magic, like healing magic, and yours is of a sort of more a different flavor, but this is different than that. It's not that kind of like warm energy from your heart outward, like when you use your divine smites and you're laying on hands and stuff. Instead, it's almost like it's like getting the wounds plucked out of you, and it feels almost like physical exertion. And when you're finished, you feel a little tired. This doesn't have a mechanical effect. But yeah, you feel drained, as though you've just done a lot of running and heavy lifting and stuff like that. Like you have that kind of that rush. But it's like those exercise endorphins as well. Like it's nice, but you're like drained for sure. And you've got some blooms.
I've got 45 hit points for my
Yeah.
F45 training. I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been at F45, getting 45 hit points. My cardio, my high intensity training, I feel great.
Right. Well, just don't strain yourself too much.
I'll hold up a mug of today's tea and say, Broccoli, canst thou consume tea in the current form?
Oh, I would like nothing more, Alora. This is what I crave most. Today's tea with bonus mud nuggets. Yum, 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 yum.
Thou dost
Oh,
have a
you-
snout. Difficult?
I can lap it up. I'll make
Like a
do.
dog.
I've got to learn to function as a wolf as best I can.
Yep, it tastes very peppery, broccoli. There's a like a real strange aftertaste.
Immediately, he just flips out and kills all of us.
It
I'm
tastes
allergic
like
to
the
mud nuggets,
desire to
y'all.
murder. Budge, you had noticed that actually you were talking about the sprouts coming up from the muck. On Broccoli's arms, there's actually several different kinds of bloom, some of which you would recognize. There are very tiny little blue blooms, which are known as mud violets in the area. And there's also a couple of familiar little sprouts that you saw just recently, which are swamp lilies.
Wait,
Lilies.
are they now a flower werewolf?
I mean, why not have it all? That's what I say. Part Goliath, part wolf, part floral arrangement. What could be better?
So, how long will thee be like this?
Same as thee, Rain? Like a bit?
I do not have any flowers. I am most concerned.
That's probably a good place for us to leave it. It is 9 o'clock. We'll take a short break. Why don't we rendezvous back here at 9:10, 10 past. We will see those of you watching live at 9:10. Thank you for tuning in. and then we will return for the second half of our session of Bardic Inspiration. See you shortly. We are back. Welcome. It's time for the second half of our session this eve, which, if I'm not mistaken, is session number 46 for us as a campaign. But it is number 6 for us on the live stream. So here we are at level 8, the Magical Cane Ban. We have just witnessed a blood initiation ritual as Broccoli has become a Wolfadin, as Matt pointed out during break. A paladin who has been initiated into the Blood Hunter way, specifically as a lycanthrope. Rain, having completed this ritual, came back to camp, wolfed out alongside a newly wolfed out Broccoli, his large mountainous mountain wolf form, and a self-described very freaked out Finn, who witnessed all this from up a tree. You're back at camp. You've had some today tea. So you're bedded down, ready to bed down for the evening. This is the part where I know if I phrase this as a question, I know what the answer is. Rain, is there something that you wanted to do or say?
Broccoli, since you are wolfed out and I am wolfed out, would we not see how far we could both throw Budge? And the one that can throw Budge the furthest wins?
Can Budge hear you?
Hi, you are not deaf.
Budge will sort of look over and just he's keeping an eye on both of you.
No, I do have in my pack one of the straw men booby traps that we came across a while ago.
Yes! Yes! A human throwing competition! Oh!
We can see how far we can throw them.
Yes, let's!
Let's see. I think it's got a name. I think I gave that straw
I
doll a
think you
name.
did give some names.
Where have you been keeping it? Have you
Well-
been putting that like on your back between?
Yeah, it's been strapped to Webastian. You know,
Webastian.
yeah. Look, I didn't place any of the care or responsibility on you, Budge, because I didn't want. It was my choice to keep the straw doll. All right, so
I'm surprised I didn't see that on the back of a bastion.
I mean, sometimes I'm carrying it in my backpack there, folded up. It squashes down real compact. It's straw, and then right.
Just imagine this straw man is like smushed, like lumpy.
I know Alora is tinkering, and every now and again she sort of shoots little glances over at Broccoli and then keeps working at something in her hand.
Oh, Jerry!
Jerry!
Jerry sound. That sounds right.
Jerry, my straw dummy. All right, Jerry, your time has come. You are going to be our test of strength, Jerry. I hope you're ready. It's your time to fly. We're gonna give you wings, Jerry.
Oh, what direction will you throw, Broccoli? For I will start running in that direction and then just try and throw it back, but further.
Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna throw it that way.
And I just start running that way through the forest.
Okay.
Okay, Broccoli, make an athletics check.
While Broccoli's throwing, I'll come up and I'll say, if they pretend to throw it, but don't, they will tire Rain out much quicker. Because then they can actually throw it the other direction, and she'll have to run the whole way.
That sounds like a Budge way of playing this game. That's what that sounds like, Budge.
Aye.
When the wolf
A clever way.
pack says they're gonna throw a straw dummy, they throw the straw dummy in the direction they said they were gonna throw it, Budge. Let me find my athletics.
Rain, when you're wolfed out, do you get advantage on athletics check? I think you do.
Yeah.
So Broccoli, you can make this check with advantage, and Rain, you'll do the same because you're both still wolfed out.
Great. Should I just roll now?
If you'd like. Well, we might need to see what the result of Broccoli's throw is first.
It's adequate.
17. Okay. Broccoli.
You get advantage because you get to roll
You do,
again.
so you get to roll again.
Okie
So you
dokie.
can see if you get to 17.
Jerry, I'm gonna do the discus. I'm gonna do a spinning pirouette, and then I'm gonna let you go, Jerry. I hope that's okay. All right, Jerry.
That was better. 21. Okay, now tell me about this, Rick. Does Jerry have like a stick inside of him that he's like mounted on, or is he just folded up as a lumpy bag of straw?
I mean, that's a good question.
I'm assuming you
imagining
could change
if I
that for travel purposes, but it's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a stick that comes out, so so that I can fold him up more. So I'll have to reinsert the stick, I think, for
Yeah. Yeah, just seeing if it was more of a javelin action or like a spin toss.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll put the stick up there, but I will do. Yeah, I'm doing a discus pirouette, so I might do it more like a hammer throw, I guess.
Okay. Broccoli, with very good form, gets great mechanical advantage with those long arms and even extra strength added from the new wolfed out sinewy muscles, and you launch Jerry just up into the air so that Jerry rapidly recedes from the firelight. And those of you with dark vision can kind of like cover the fire a bit and look and watch as it just like soars up through the area as tall as the highest branches of the nearby tree. And rain, it goes soaring like 5-10 feet past where you had gotten to while you were running and lands in a heap on the ground.
Glad that weren't me.
Lie, Jerry.
That's a 13. You get one more go. If you hit a 21, you get it back to Broccoli.
Don't let much.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Flirting with it. Okay, Rain. Unfortunately, even with your wolf strength, you don't get quite the leverage and mechanical advantage of a Broccoli, and you don't quite give it as much oomph as he was able to. It's also like a weird.
8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's 8 feet tall, and this is like a humanoid-sized bag of straw. You're a small-sized creature. Like, it's not heavy. It's just really weird to like get it physically in a place where it makes sense for you to be able to throw it. So unfortunately, it only makes it about 3/4 of the way back, and then sort of lands at the edge of the firelight and flops in a heap.
Oh, Jerry. You all right, Jerry?
Brock, you are the winner.
Oh, of this first test, aye. But I'm sure when we think of the next thing to test, perhaps it shall be you who is triumphant, Rain.
Aye, and I shall think on many tests.
Now, Cane Band, you have set up your camp area. Are you ready to bed down for the evening for a breezy morning?
Before we do, Broccoli,
Aye.
to congratulate thee on thy recent success in becoming a wolf, I have made a little tinkering here for thee. I've made thee a badge that thou mayest pin to thy coat. It is, in fact, of a grey wolf.
Oh.
It's got a pin on it, so you can pin it to yourself.
Oh, this
Little wolf Broccoli for thou to wear.
is well tinkered, Alora. A Wolf Day present. Oh,
So I
so
made a little grey
befitting.
wolf that looks like Broccoli into a pin.
Yeah. Meg, for once again physically tinkering an actual Laura Tinker thing, take a motive inspiration, which you may use either this second half or sometime next session.
We should remember this day, for this will be your wolf birthday.
Oh, aye.
What day is it?
The 19th of
Right.
Snowbreak.
That's correct.
It is in fact the day after my own birthday.
Ah,
Right.
Laura's birthday and then my wolf birthday. And of course it's in Snowbreak. This is the best Snowbreak gift of all.
Budge, when is your birthday?
I don't know.
Mayhap we can ask his nan when we get to his home, Rain.
Aye.
You know.
And you, Finn?
It's
okay.
another.
I know.
Shh, Rain, I don't like everyone to know when my birthday.
I know.
Makes me feel old.
I love this.
So,
We discovered
Okay.
that Finn is 300 years old.
Finn now always struck me as someone who was born when the stars were in the constellation of Gomorrah. You got such Gomorrah energy, you know. but maybe with the moon in Terraskar, you know?
It is indeed so. It is funny that you were able to guess it properly.
This is
I've got a
canon.
good sense of what
I
constellation
give
people were
off-
born under.
Real Gamora energy, don't I?
Yeah, yeah. In a good way.
Great. Maybe just improvising an astrology system over here.
Jot that down, please, Adam. Jot
Yeah,
that down.
no, I did. That's canon. I wrote it.
We have
Constellation
some astrology.
Gamora in Terraska.
I need some rest. Are we sleeping in a tiny hut?
Indeed, we are.
All right. Is anyone going to be keeping watch, or are you just hutting it out in your hut?
Best part about the hut.
Yeah.
I'll stay up for a little bit just to jot love ideas in my love book.
And after 4 hours, I'll definitely,
You'll have a-
but definitely need the Zen first.
For sure.
And I will try to sleep by myself again, but I will find it hard. So I will go and sleep at Alora's feet.
And knowing she was likely to do that, Alora chose a place that was quite close to Rain and to begin with.
I know. Okay.
I think
Sleep
that
time.
because Rain slept on top of Peeves the night previous, I think Peeves will sleep on top of Rain, knowing that is now an option.
I've got Rain and Peeves stacked at my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Toasty. Okay. You huddle up, and Webastion posts up nearby, doing whatever it is Webastion does of an evening. You can occasionally hear some scuttles, those of the more observant of you, Alora and Budge, for sure. I think you would occasionally hear him moving around, some creaking sounds from nearby trees. But you take your rest. And Finn, you will be awake the earliest, so you can go ahead and click through your long rest. Nothing disturbs you during your 4 hours. Is there anything you would like to do during the wee hours of the morning, Finn time?
I think Finn is going to try and pen a poetic response to what has just happened the night before. It's kind of a starting point for a dark, abstract, experimental bit of cruelty performance. So
Nice.
she's kind of going back over the event and writing some notes, some scenes.
Ah. Yeah, we haven't heard much about Finn's experimental phase since early days.
Yeah, it's been reignited by the monstrosity that was seen.
Yeah, no, she's been doing more like kind of, pop anthems and ballads and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you gotta make a living, right? But
Wow.
back
Okay.
back to the great love, maybe re-inspired.
Okay. Cool. Well, then you can get down to business on that. In fact, make a performance check just to kind of see how that process goes. Like you're sort of, working it
Yeah.
out. You can get through.
It's going all right.
Okay.
Bit of
19.
inspiration.
Yeah. Look, you get that feeling where you're not sure of what's happening, and then one of the things you write down just sparks something, and suddenly what was like a road that had one or two forks in it becomes this web of possibility, and you're like, oh wait, no, I could go this way, or no, wait a minute. This is like this other form that I was really enjoying, and like, oh, make me incorporate that dance element. I was thinking like all of these different things that have just been little snatches of unrelated things in your mind. They sort of line up. And while like obviously you're not finished, this is just the beginning brainstorming time, but like, yeah, you feel like you've got a really strong foundation here that you could start to put things on its feet and try, and yeah, this was very productive writing session.
Great.
There doesn't seem to be any kind of major ruckus happening outside, but as the sunlight is coming, the rest of you can click through to your long rest.
Can I wake up before Budge?
Technically, no. But if you have something you want to do at Budge's expense, you might be able to roll for it.
I want to wake up before Budge and body slam him awake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Checks out.
yeah, that's because Budge might not be physically up even if he is awake. So, Budge, this is how you are welcomed to the morning.
Is there
And
anything I
rain
can
jumping
do?
on you. Yeah, make describe what you mean by body slam, Rain. What are you physically trying to do to Budge?
I'm like pretending to be asleep and then just leaping up and then just trying to jump over him with my body like an arch, like a bridge.
Like,
So
the,
I'm not,
like the belly flop on him.
yeah, I'm not trying
okay.
to hurt him, but I'm putting enough weight to scare him.
Yeah.
What are the chances that Budge has put Jerry in his bed as a decoy?
I wish.
If only. Budge, you can make a
so
dex
good.
saving throw.
Might be
Dex
fast
save.
enough to just
All
roll
right.
out away.
You can make a dex save. Yeah. So it's not an area of effect thing, so evasion doesn't apply. But
I don't have that anyway. So
oh, that's right.
not yet.
You are. Yeah. You have the total level necessary for that. Not. Okay, 14. So, Budge, you notice that the sun rising vaguely in the east is blotted out for a moment, and you open your eyes as the figure of Rain is plummeting down towards you, and you're able to roll partially to the side, but she still lands on you, like thwomp. And then there is a scrabbling halfling on you, kind of like trying to get position to keep you pinned down.
Morning, Rain.
Good morning, Budge! I just get up and skip out
breakfast.
of the tent.
Yeah.
Morning, all. Broccoli, how dost thou feel this morning?
As if my life has started anew. Good friends, dost thou all not feel that this day is the beginning of a new life for all? Look around, good friends, at the eyes of this, the magical cane band. Each of us have earned our place here, in the band, and in this life, and here in this dome. And yet this dome will house us no more this day, for we shall venture forth and let the sun's sweet kiss lure us forward. 'Cause easy breezy is our target, and easy breezy is our way. For we shall walk together, friends, each of us taller for knowing the others are beside us, each of us urging the others on to ever greater heights. For I know that when thou stands with me, friends, I shall never falter, no matter what the road throws at me. For thou art a band most fearsome, a band most capable, and a band most in tune with each other's needs and wants and strengths and weaknesses that none can fault us, friends. So let us brace ourselves for a day filled with adventure. For all of us are changed here, me into a wolf, and now thee as a wolf's friend. And so walk with me as we see what this day has. I am excited, and so shalt thou be too, friends. Breakfast awaits! Onward!
And
Consider yourselves inspired and led.
I forget what's happening every single time until I'm like, wow.
He's really going.
I definitely asked him how he was on purpose. No,
Yeah. I would like to also point out, so as the 8 hours finishes, Broccoli times his speech such that the dome drops, and you can see that all around your camp, there are like 4 or 5 different trees. They have apparently served as anchor posts for this massive web that Web Ashton has been weaving during the night. And it surrounds the dome except for one of the faces, where there is now an archway of web that you could walk through. And throughout the web, there are like strange patterns, and they're really abstract and angular like a spider's web. But you can see a particular area of ground has been particularly scuffed up, and there are really intricate lines drawn in one of them, and very crudely rendered. There is like a big bundle of web that has like sort of protrusions like arms and legs, and then a much smaller, about half the size of that web, with protrusions of arms and legs, and like a big sort of crescent moon made in the web above it. And Webastian is standing very proudly next to it.
Can he understand anybody except Broccoli? Just Broccoli.
Webastian can understand common.
Because Alora will absolutely appreciate the craftsmanship of it all and go up and, Webastian, thou art becoming most skilled. This is something indeed.
We cannot leave this. We have to take this with us.
We needs must take it in memories in our heads, for we have not a means to transport it. But Webastian, well done.
Gives a spider bow. So like his thorax still being high up in the air on his back legs, but his front segments down in a kind of curtsy and rising back up.
Hi. If Sebastian was a wolf spider does not have web, it just has venom. So perhaps you may like to think on that.
Realize the anatomy of a wolf spider differed so greatly. I shall discuss this with Webastian in depth. Make sure that Webastian is happy with the form that Webastian has. Because this is, the development in the craft is stunning. Honestly,
I have
Webastian.
practiced.
You've gone beyond practice. I think thou hast gone far and beyond anything that any spider could ever have crafted. Thou art unique.
Thou does not mean that, Broccoli.
No.
Surely there are greater spider artists.
No, I have ne'er seen a web spun with such grace and affinity for the form. Webastian, this is breathtaking.
Are you saying this out loud, Broccoli, or into Webastian's mind?
Out loud. But yeah, out loud.
As this is happening, you can see a strange thing is happening across Webastian's body. There's like the great spiny hairs that are all over are sort of like twitching in a kind of rippling waves across. It's happening sort of in the time of like a purr or laughter, but in spider form, if you can imagine that. Like these sort of twitches across the hairs in sort of rhythmic patterns. He seems very pleased.
Webastian, if thou wilt allow me, if thou hast a particular work of art such as this or another that thou wish to render permanently, I would love to copy it in wire and metal in miniature form.
Webastian thinks this to Broccoli. Alora would do this?
And I'm just kind of trying to remember as much of the detail as I am looking at it in detail.
Yeah, and I let Webastian know that Alora's tinkering is very, very good.
I would like this very much.
Mm-hmm.
Budge will having some fabric. He has some canvas and stuff from when he was at one point. He got the materials to make studded leather armor and failed. And he has leftover materials from that, and so he'll take like a little bit of the leather and sort of with the permission of Webastian find the piece that he wants. I assume it's the central art piece near the door, and sort of just stick it up against it, and then with his knife like cut around the edges so that you've at least got like the thing of it, and then Budge will try and maybe get some sort of dust material or something to just keep the other side not sticky anymore.
Yeah.
And
you can definitely do that.
Alora will realize that she's being an idiot, and she'll just pull out one of her calligraphy pages and quickly make a sketch of the rest of the circle.
Yeah, and Budge, with that leather, you can handily sort of dust that up and then fold it such that it's like protected in this sheath of leather, almost like a little book.
I'll give that to Alora.
Okay.
Thank you, Budge, for that foresight.
We could have a whole multimedia situation. We could have live theater and art installations.
All on a boat.
On a boat. All on a boat.
We can take the web when we are on a boat.
Aye, you could fix the sail with web. Maybe.
Maybe.
Are you still sprouting flowers, Broccoli?
Oh, I don't know.
You can check if you check your arms, Broccoli, the mud and the roots and stuff, they don't go into your skin, or like you can sort of like peel at it and it just sort of peels away like a mud mask, you know, like it's just your skin underneath. But the soil itself, the mud, is basically like a strip of topsoil with these flowers coming out of it, and their roots are sort of protruding through the bottom.
These flowers merely rest upon me, Rain. They are not integrated in my form. I am no more flower than thou art.
Oh, and so I pick the flowers off Broccoli and put a few in the web.
Ow! I'm joking. I didn't feel it.
Right, we should get a move on if we're to catch Breezy by the river today.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh.
I can.
Let's pack up the camp and Budge will start picking everything up.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and again, as usual, keeping an eye out from behind us.
Okay.
Budge, are you nervous to see Breezy again?
Nay, why would I be? That's what they sound like. Go throw a piece of straw.
You go throw a piece of straw. I could throw you under the table.
Could not.
Good too.
Could not.
Alright, I try and pick up Budge and throw him.
So
I
Rain
just
is
stand.
attempting to grapple you, Budge. What do you do about that? You say you just stand there.
No, I'll do the thing as I've learned. My only advantage against Rain is with my long arms, try and put my hand against their head.
Okay, then it's an athletics versus acrobatics at this point, or athletics against athletics, whichever you choose it to be. This is a kind of grapple check. Oh my gosh. Saved by the ledge there. That's an 11 from Rain. It was heading towards 20.
I realized I have a bugbear feature that I've never used. That I again didn't realize I had, and it is powerful build, and I'm considered large when determining my carrying capacity and weight I can push, drag, or lift.
That's right.
Don't know if that affects this at all.
If you want to pick up Rain, it might.
I'll try and pick up Rain. I want to throw Rain.
Yeah, okay. Then you can make an athletics check as well.
Cool. It's not. I don't think it's going to be as good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was close. 16. That does beat. So, Rain, you come running forward and are going to wrap your arms around Budge's upper thighs, like basically as high as you can reach. And Budge, just like an arm you don't see coming because it goes so far over your head and then around your body, suddenly just grips like your belt area from behind. And as you come forward to grab hair, you just whiff. And Budge basically picks up Rain by the belt and is like a holding Rain at eye level, a few feet off the ground. And you've got her held out in front of you with your long bugbear arms.
But yeah, I'll just try to throw it.
Okay. Make another athletics check.
Like she wouldn't do it to me.
Oh, yeah. Were she physically able?
Yeah.
Is that a natural 20? Of course, that's when this gets.
Oh, the best one
Oh
ever.
my god, with your +1.
Oh, this feels like sweet vengeance for the number of times Rain has
Oh
got
my
me in a
God.
headlock or
Yeah.
pinned me down.
Oh my god. Budge, you now have Rain out like basically like Jerry at this point, and you're able to like do one of these dancing twists and get full length of your arms extended and just woof. Just
I'm
chuck
aiming
her.
for like mud or something, somewhere
Yeah,
soft.
yeah,
I'm not
there's-
like aiming at rocks.
There's
or anything.
water nearby, like there's
Oh.
swamp water right there, and Rain,
Okay.
you just go flying through the air, like arcing up, and you see the water getting further and further away than you below. I'd like for you to make an acrobatics check if you want to try to like land gracefully in the water. No way!
I mean,
2.5 hours. And these are the two rolls in a row. Okay. Rain, you are scraggling like crazy through the air, just flying. I want you to tell me, you're going to land in the water, but tell me exactly how Rain does it if she has total control over that situation. How would it go?
All her acrobatics training just kicks in, and she just remembers like doing trapeze and stuff, and like throws out her arms and goes flying through and does a flip, and then goes into the water in a dive, like one of those Olympic divers.
Yeah, and it's just like perfect, like hardly any splash at all. Just knifes into the water, and then it's just still surface.
Yeah, and then I just like swim under the water back.
There's not even a bubble on the surface. It's just dead quiet.
You're right. Rain? And Budge will go up to the water, like worried about, as he's been under some swamp water and some bad stuff's happened before. Rain?
That's true. Rain, from under the water, you can see the dim outline of a Budge breaking the silhouette of the sun.
And I just burst out right where his face is, and I'm just like, that was amazing!
That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that, but that was really cool.
As soon as Rain bursts up, there's a thunderous sound of rapturous applause, like a stadium is just going.
did I not say this day was going to be full of adventure and fun? And now look, already. Wow.
Did you see?
We will have to practice that.
I think this is the best move for a show. Or a battle tactic.
Aye.
We don't do enough throwing of each other in battle, 'tis true.
No.
I've thought it oft.
Aye. We'll have to practice this maneuver.
This is the best day ever.
And it has only just begun.
So it has, but you don't have very long to go, because having camped in a very advantageous spot, there's one last bit of a slog of swamp ahead of you. And the reason you needed to camp the night rather than push ahead is that it's kind of a tricky bit to do at night, but given that it's daylight, Budge is able to navigate you pretty handily to an area where the main road has kind of gone across the river again. So you get to the River Gad before you get to the road. And the swamp gives way to more kind of plains-like land. And to the west, there are the first beginnings of kind of proper forest. But where you are now, it is a broader sort of curving portion of the River Gad, and there is some grasslands directly around it. But then heading a bit further west, as you do along the river for the last bit of the journey, so it's easiest, it keeps you out of the swamp. You can go into some low-lying hills which rise around the river, and then up at the crest of one of those hills there are the beginnings of some kind of rocky outcroppings, and on just such a one there is a flatland with a basically well-established campsite of sorts, in that there are some rocks strewn out in kind of a fire pit formation. The ground is beaten flat from frequent use, and there's signs of people having used this within the past weeks at least to have made their camp. And it has a view sort of overlooking the river down a bit of a slope, and you have some altitude. So this is a familiar place for you, Budge. You've created your signal fire here a number of times to meet up with Breezy.
As
I'll
we're
set the
going
fire.
along the river, I'll be keeping a sharp eye out for any abandoned fishing equipment. Maybe someone's got a net that's tangled and they've cut loose or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye out.
Make a perception check, Laura.
Not investigation.
No,
You have
this would
Jeeves
be
help you if you want.
yeah. This would be
Jeeves is
just
gonna
kind of
run.
looking out over the land. If you were up close, going through a particular area, then maybe investigation would apply.
Oh,
Oh, tease. Okay, 18.
but still, that's ridiculous.
You were hoping for an investigation check with your plus 10 to perception. Okay. Alora, you actually notice that in the distance, some way east of where you come to the river, you can actually see a river barge floating downstream, pretty good ways away from you, but it does seem to have some folks fishing on it. Further upstream, as you're walking west, you do actually find the remnants in a particularly sort of meshy patch of vegetation where there are a bunch of cattails and lily pads and grass protruding out of the water. You get a telltale gleam, a dull gleam of metal, and you can see that some of the cattails have been bent at odd angles. Upon getting a closer look, you see that there is in fact a very old web, which had a web of net that has been tangled up in this space, and it's mostly ripped. Like the net itself is pretty much destroyed, as a bunch of sticks and like a big hunk of an old tree that has embedded itself in the bank is protruding through it. Bless you. But at the bottom of that rope, there are still some lumps, a very old, a bit worse for wear, some kind of rusty bits of lead, those lead weights that are used.
Pick them up.
Yep, you can easily enough kind of cut around the rope edges, and the rope is like on its last legs as well. It's covered in mildew and mold and all kinds of stuff. Comes apart pretty easily. But you get a handful of lead weights from the side of that net.
Yay.
Laura,
Rain.
what does happen if we sell the heart to Breezy and then Breezy hands it on to the evil wizard that is searching for us, and then he finds out we killed the dragon and we just get wrath down on us?
He hath a means to communicate with me and has chosen not to do so for some time now, so I feel his attention is elsewhere.
Oi.
I have a bad feeling about this.
If it would help, mayhap Budge could approach Breezy on his own, and then Roger would know not that we were involved, for Budge and Breezy are just doing a normal smuggling arrangement.
Bartlett!
I could make me invisible so that I can go and watch closely, but it's fine with me if it appears to Breezy that Budge is alone.
But what if Breezy is just Roger dressed up as Breezy, trying to trick us all, and then Budge is at the whim of dressed up Roger?
I think we will have to fight him sometime. At least he will have the power of a dragon heart to fight us with.
We can only be in charge of the dragon hearts in our own possession. Once it leaves our grip, we have no control over who will eventually own it. And it is therefore also not our responsibility, friends.
This is
Carry
very
not the weight
wise.
of the world on thy shoulders. Once we have given it to what we believe to be a good party, its responsibility is no longer ours.
I'm not sure Breezy's a good party. I will just say that. I thought we were doing this for the money.
Indeed.
But we have money.
Who dost thou think Breezy would sell the heart to?
Oh, it's not something I would ask.
So therefore not our responsibility, friends. Carry not the weight of the world. You will grow old before thy time.
Would the wizard really be upset if there's a situation where they get the heart? Isn't that what they asked us to do?
So we could, in fact...
Wait! The dragon did, on their deathbed, did say to us, do not give my body to the wizard.
He said...
And I think this is a promise we should keep.
Well, I mean,
His actual request of us, Rain, was not to tell the wizard of his location, which we have not done.
He did say that, I assume, with the knowledge that he thought he would not be dead.
Indeed.
You've been loopholed. I like it.
But it is possible that we can loophole back.
I am outnumbered. Sell the heart.
Hey, we need not sell the heart.
We could bury it or burn it or do many things if thou wishes, if thou concerned about its well-being. But Budge does have a good point, Rain. It is very valuable.
We could save it for Mother Sawyer, just like we thought. We'll get it preserved at my family, save it Mother Sawyer, and we can just buy some stuff off of Breezy now. Or trade some other things. Or, I don't know, I even thought we could make some of the dragon's scales and forge them as if we found them.
Yeah, 3 or 4 of the scales is still a valuable price. I mean, a paltry amount compared to the rest we have, but she needs to not know that.
I think what we're all really wondering is Breezy a suitable member to join the Magical Cane Band and become another performer on stage with us all? For we have a spot empty at this stage.
It's possible if we did that, Budge would be most distracted.
Well, no. I'll tell thee this. Whilst Breezy is someone that I have learned from and someone I have done dealings with, I trust them as far as I would pay them. Right?
Okay.
They ain't never done a thing for me for free. And nor do I understand their full ties and connections and responsibilities. I do not know, for example, that they might have a certain tattoo on their ribs. Perhaps.
Ooh,
And the Four Winds doth still believe that they hold sway over thee, my friends, and know not that thou hast bested it with the help of Mother Sawyer.
Oh.
Then we should sell some scales, but not the heart.
We can do that, Rain, if thou wished, and take the heart to Ichabod, ask her to preserve it.
I feel very listened to.
Well, why?
Oh, listen to you. Thou art a member of the Green Man, as valuable as any other.
Right, I'm still happy to be buying stuff from Breezy at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But
See what she has.
I mean, we don't need to sell them any of the dragon pieces. If we don't need the money, then
We'll play it
even
cool.
bother? Yeah.
Play it cool. We'll see what the vibe is.
Although
Yeah.
actually, it would be strange for me to have summoned her with the smoke if I didn't have something to borrow with. So some skills would be good.
Okay.
I
could
summoned her.
Yeah.
Well, I
We could try to sell her Jerry. We'll sell Jerry.
And so you've lit the
She'll see
fire,
through that.
Budge,
Yeah, I started the
Okay.
fire, poured the powder on it.
right? So you said it was. Did you say it was blue smoke before?
Yeah, like very faintly grayish blue.
Mm-hmm. And this very distinct streak of this bluish smoke comes up from that point, rising high into a relatively clear sky for today. Some white clouds.
Budge will take out his forgery kit, and where Allura can see as well, just so he's sort of like, you can see what I'm doing if you have something to help. I appreciate it.
I
I'll ask-
definitely do.
He'll start trying to make the fresh scales look how those old scales he found looked. So like putting a few scratches on them, dirting them up a bit as if they were found in the mud. Not looking like they were freshly plucked off a dragon and
I
cleaned
see.
for the last 3
I
days.
see.
For sure,
Okay.
Laura will get her own forgery kit out and help.
Okay.
Do
So
we
then,
have a huge floating disc above our heads?
It is just
No.
when I summon it, Rain.
yeah.
Whenever
So-
you need it.
If the two of you are gonna sort of have a go, you can make more or less a forgery kit check, which I believe is for the.
Tools.
If you're proficient, then it's your proficiency bonus.
Oh, I'm a
and
tool expert, my friends.
yes. But for Budge's sake, I think it's either Dex or Intelligence modifier on top
Oh,
of.
it's Dex for me.
Yeah. I can't. I'm just making sure I'm getting this correct. But
Oh,
yeah, I think that's fine either way.
My proficiency bonus at level 8.
Plus
Is it
3.
Budge rolling or am I, or are we both rolling?
I would say you could each do it unless you're helping in such a way that it's
I like rolling dice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Boom.
pretty good. And a play. Yep. Allura is being Allura. Budge! Oh, so close. With a +6, that would have been crazy good. Okay, but both of you rolled pretty well. So I will say, putting your heads together and working on this, part of the forging process is investigating very closely. Obviously, that's part of the intelligence side of doing this. But it's also a matter of dexterity, insofar as it's manual dexterity, getting things to be manipulated just the way you want them to. So you notice a few things. For one, Budge, it's immediately clear to you that these scales are smaller than the ones that you sold before. On average, the ones that you found in the lair seemed, just broader in general. You also notice that Hergor scales have that telltale kind of sparkle to them, that sort of purplish gleam, pinkish purplish gleam, and that seems more concentrated in Hergor's scales. Looking back on it, the scales that you had collected before also had that, but maybe to a lesser extent.
Allura has one of the scales that I found. I can't remember. I feel like I kept one or I gave one.
Yeah, check your inventory. I don't know if I made a note of that. You definitely sold a bunch.
I sold a bunch, and I think I gave one at one point. I can't remember. I sold one maybe to Allura or someone when I first met the Cane Band.
Because they were offering to buy something from you on the boat.
Yeah, and I bought it. It was definitely a scale.
Are you sure it was not stolen when we were robbed?
Well, Allura's the only one who didn't get robbed, so it would be it would be
I'm fairly
important.
sure I sold Allura a scale for like 30 gold or something.
We probably
So
gave
it
it
was
to
like-
Mother Sawyer.
It was like an upmarket price. Maybe you gave it to, I don't know. But anyway,
It's not in mine.
She
That doesn't mean that.
she wanted a scale.
She
I remember
requested
she
it.
wanted a
I did,
scale.
yeah.
But I don't know if you ever actually gave her one,
Not. We haven't given her
I
any
think
of
so.
the things that she asked us for yet.
her shopping list.
Yeah.
She gave you. Yeah.
The mystery of the scale.
But even if you don't have that scale for comparison, you have your memory of it, and it's upon closer examination, those differences are apparent.
I
Which
assume we're going to
Budge,
figure this out.
yeah, and like from your experience tracking and skinning hides, like you're pretty confident that these are the old scales were from a different creature.
Hergor.
Which probably means that we can't. If we do have that old scale, we can't sell that to Breezy with the other ones because they'll be able to tell that it's different.
Perhaps not. Because, I mean, not sure everybody understands the scales, but even still, that is concerning. Well,
But you were hoping to scuff them up or like make
Yeah.
them look like it, which you can put mud on them, and you can have a go at maybe trying to scuff them. Like if you have I'm sure Allura's got some files and stuff like that, and you can have a go at like scratching up at them. It is tough going. They are extremely robust. Like you're like scratching against them, and it's like this grating, almost metal on metal kind of sound, and it just you're able to make these kind of defined lines, but they rub out pretty easy, and it takes a good bit of like grit to actually you Allura, even you'd have to bust out some of your jeweler's tools to really kind of like the stuff you would do to process diamonds and stuff like that. With those, you're kind of able to manipulate them such. But it's very difficult to imitate the abrasive erosion that time brings, or that lots of kind of bludgeoning blows do, and that kind of thing.
I do have the acid's not going to do much to them.
yeah. You could give that a go.
He's a dragon.
Oh, I do have Hergor's teeth and fangs, though.
That's true.
And claws and stuff.
And Budge, with that stroke of inspiration, I think as Allura is using her jeweler's tools, you do find that using Hergor's own claw or teeth is probably one of the fangs being the most user-friendly. You are able to actually start creating some scratches on some of these. You'll have to like paint or apply some dark mud and stuff to them, but over some time you can kind of harden some of that mud to dry it, hoping at least to create the illusion of having it caked into the crevices
I mean, I
and stuff
guess
like
that's
that.
what we're trying to do, is just create the illusion on them, just to make it seem like they're not too... Yeah, they just seem like they were found, because that's going to be the story.
Fresh off the carcass. Yeah. Okay. So how many of the scales, or how much like of the hide or whatever it is, are you processing this way?
Well, we have the whole hide that
You
I
do.
think we we did a good job of preserving, and has been
Right.
sort of dried out for 3 days almost now, or 2 days.
Yeah, a day and a half.
No, 3 days, because we spent a night on the way to the.
That's true. You did.
Place first.
So you've had 2 nights and change. Yeah.
I'd say I just want to take like a very small portion, like 10 scales.
Less than. Budge, when we met thee, they only had 6 or 9 in their possession, and that was
I
a
had
princely sum.
10, and that was the amount that I could scavenge, given about like an hour rummaging around in his lair. So, and that is 10 scales. They didn't know that how I got them from, so I thought that seems like the number to do again.
It's a princely sum.
But I mean,
Everyone knows Budge always has 10 scales on him. That's what he's known for. Oh, Budge, 10 scales to Ruatru. That's what they call him.
Budge is already a nickname, so it would probably just be 10 scales.
What is your real name?
Hurry.
Oh,
Oh.
No one calls me that. Oi,
10
10
scales.
scales?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Then with working with Alora and with that check, I reckon you can process 10 of those scales in that way, so that you feel pretty confident they look found and pretty mucky. Although of course once they're shined up, they will have that familiar gleam and luster.
Hey, Finn.
Yes.
Finn, I did remember that last night thou had the lute and the flute, and was most proficient in both, in creating a soundscape most inspiring. And yet, I did see that thou had to continually put the flute down and pick the flute up, and switching between the two was tricky. Couldst thou not ask Alora to fashion for thee some sort of head contraption that thy flute could slide into, so that the flute was always at the ready? Thou would still need to let the lute go to use the fingers on the flute, but it would be easily there to blow upon the flute and to play upon the lute.
Broccoli, thou art so right. I should indeed ask Alora for such a device.
It's impressive the way that thou wields 2 instruments, and if thou could wield them even more easily at thy fingertips, then why, this would crowd in rapture.
Yes. Think of what music we could all make.
And I don't want to force this upon thee, but if thou would also somehow fashion 2 cymbals between thy knees, just a couple of cymbals that thou could crash together with a bringing together of thy knees, so that could be 3 instruments at thy beck and call.
We definitely need more cymbals in our music anyway.
I thought this. And you were the one with the most rhythm in thy instinct.
The one woman marching cane band. The magical marching cane band.
I mean, there's a lot to like about it.
I suppose if we're on the move, we could be marching on the barge as we...
Got a ring to it.
Rain's thinking it over.
And we could, and these are just off the top of my head. If we had more time to think what instruments I could have at thy fingertips, perhaps even more couldst thou be playing.
There could be also fingertip cymbals. Could be hard to then loot.
Aye.
I'll think on it.
It will need definitely some exploration to make sure that one instrument does not the other cancel.
Alora,
Hi.
with your 20 passive perception, I think you would be the first to notice. Although Finn and Budge, you might not be far behind.
Budge is at 19.
Yeah,
That there is a female black dragon standing by.
Double the size of Hergor.
There is a craft coming upstream, a raft of some sort in the water, not too far away. It is like it's not super long, maybe 15 feet or a little longer in total, and it's slightly elevated off the water on what appear to be two kind of runners underneath that are bearing most of the buoyancy and weight of the craft. Like a simple, small barge, but it's making quite good pace upstream and flowing against the river's current and coming directly for the bend of the river where you are perched over with your blue smoke coming up. And there is a lone figure on that barge who is holding a kind of push pole, and doesn't seem to be working very hard, and is looking up at the blue smoke, and you see more or less makes eye contact with you as you are looking down, and the craft runs aground, kind of by design, into the soft, silty side of the river. Not too far.
I believe thy friend approaches. Ooh, friend.
What do people? What a shopping list? What is there? Anything people want?
Her barge. I want the barge. We should buy the barge.
We're going to the mountains. We're going to see my friends. We're going to go see my family. We won't be able to take the barge into the mountain.
I could carry it. No, I should probably.
A showboat it is not, Broccoli. A showboat it is not.
Yeah, that's true. I just thought it'd be a good, like, a doorway in onto the boat owning ladder.
What do you need?
What
What do
We'd
you
be
need?
on the
What do
first
you want?
rung.
They're right here. They're right here. What do you want?
Give her a compliment.
Yeah, and symbols.
Shut up, Ray.
Symbols that can be affixed between Finn's knees. See, knee symbols.
Symbols of what?
Like actual like crashing cymbals, percussion cymbals.
Symbols of crashing.
I can question thee thus. Don't worry about that. We need not buy them.
Oh,
Budge, we trust thee for inventory, whatever thou thinkest. We know not what she has.
some sort of dye for Web Ashton to color his web.
Right. All right.
That I can make not.
As this furious sort of scrambling conversation happens, the person who is on the barge comes closer and rounds up the path to come up the hill to the top where you are, and stops about 30 feet from where the group of you are clumped near that fire. And you can see an elven woman with grayish purplish skin and a kind of shock of bright blonde hair. In fact, I can show you.
Oh, she is beautiful.
Give me a second.
Can I have warily disguised self?
When you saw her.
Forget, so I don't really want.
Yeah, okay. You can have done so kind of right when you first saw the craft. How would you have disguised Allura?
I'm just vaguely like I'm that human, similar to, I think it was the name Jocelyn that Finn was when she was in town, like this kind of neutral peasant lady.
Oh yeah. Okay, if you go to the map view on Rollcast, you can see, I'll switch this as well so that folks watching can see. There is on a portrait approximation of who you see. She is wearing studded leather armor, which has a kind of greenish brown cloak, which seems to be rather finely made, attached to the fronts and sides of it. She has a number of belts sort of strapped across her chest and across her waist, which seem to be filled with different pouches, a couple of daggers, and she has a staff in her hand that she's walking up with. And as she gets to within view of you, she kind of takes the staff to put behind her back, but you don't see it come up from above her head the way it would be. She seems to fasten it to her belt behind her, but it's out of sight. Well then, Budge.
Right, Breezy. How are they?
Well. Thor's not seen fit to bury me just yet. Who are your friends?
We are the magical. Hey,
And
Right then. So, at long last then, Budge, you've done it. You've gone and joined the circus, have you?
Well, they are a group that I'm just transporting them through.
Oh,
Right then.
And well, I found something, and I'll switch to thieves' camp. To sort of make it clear that I'm trying to like hide something from the rest of the Cane band, and say, and I think I've got something to show you. I'd rather them not see.
Make a deception check.
Do you think that was a compliment?
I can't believe everybody immediately announced who we were. Immediately, we're like, fugitives.
People gotta know.
Be a mistake.
Word of mouth is our best advertising, Budge. Word of mouth.
Yeah. At least I have a positive modifier for this.
No way! What a journey! What? That day, everyone. Just hanging us on tenterhooks.
When you're lucky.
Yeah, that's the last 2 rolls. Yeah.
It's really great. It doesn't give us a heart attack at all.
Oh my god. Okay, you say this, and to the rest of you, Budge is speaking common, but it's nonsense. It's like rhyming words and like the closest analog is kind of like rhyming slang, right? That kind of thing. But Budge is just waffling on and saying all these things, and you can tell it's meant to mean something.
Cuckoo's Nest is up the river, so I think that we best go plant our seeds in the next harvest over. Summer's here.
Hello.
As Budge says all this, Breezy sort of looks at the rest of you, cocks an eyebrow at Budge, and then replies something that the rest of you don't understand. It's something like around the roundabout with you then, and then oops, springs, rounds, and chains. What you hear, Budge, what you hear is, have you gotten yourself into a bit of a spot, Mr. Ruitrue?
Boy, they call me Budge.
Right then, you're in the circus. Let's see if you tumble. What have you there? Shall we, I'll make a production of it. And then in common, Breezy says, I crave your humble pardon. You look to be such excellent, fine folk. I hope it's no ill will to say that it's a procedure of business that we step aside. It fills my heart with attention, a nervous condition from my mother's side to be feeling surrounded when business is being done. Do you understand?
You want some alone time.
Yes, precisely. That's the one.
With my back to Breezy, I'm just going to
Take your time, easy breezy. You and Budge should definitely reacquaint and discuss all that thou wilt. Matters of affairs of the pocket and the heart. What air takes thy fancy? Chat away.
Budge, what is it they're talking about? Matters of the heart? What have you been doing? As you're like walking away, she's muttering this.
I wouldn't pay any mind to them. They'll say whatever. Like, you know how circus folk are.
Yes, exactly. Now then, brass tacks, isn't it? What have you got for me, Budge? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Oh. Got something that perhaps will reflect the amount of time I've spent away. And I will procure the scales. And I'll hand one over to Breezy. Just the days.
Breezy takes it. A moment. And then she, in a fluid motion, sort of like closes her hand around the scale, puts another hand in her cloak, and whips out like a handkerchief that she passes once over the scale. When she does that, it is utterly clean and sparkles as though it's brand new. She flicks the handkerchief, puts it back in her pocket.
Your eyes aren't deceiving you. have 9 more of them.
9, you said.
10, including that one.
What a nice round number.
Right.
Where did you uncover this, Budge?
Budge will describe, in terms of lay of the land, the way to Hergor's lair.
Risky patch of swamp you traversed there.
I have no idea.
I have some idea.
Took a bit of a swim to get into the den. Didn't have much time.
Alright.
Followed a frog in. That's how I spotted it.
Followed a frog in.
See, it's surrounded by water. And you had to... I didn't even know. I thought it was a mound of earth. So a frog, come up. And I thought, oh, a little bit interesting. So I took a dive. I went under there. And lo and behold, a mud den. All sorts of trinkets there too. But of course, I didn't stick around long enough to find out who was home. So, or who was coming home. I found them.
Budge. Make a deception check with advantage.
It's all true.
You are telling mostly true things.
Yeah, it is a deception.
The object of your story is not what you found when you
Oh,
did that.
100%.
Yeah. Oh,
Advantage.
that's one. No. No way.
That's 3 in a row.
The dice are with us tonight.
What? Just what?
I never rolled so well in my life.
You really haven't. You really haven't. My God, Budge. Okay.
And I think she would know Budge to be not a great liar.
Budge. I must say, of all the strange and dumb luck I ever heard of in my life, you mean to tell me that you traipsed through that swamp?
Why?
Where gods know what lives underneath the surface of that muck. You mean to tell me you went in there by yourself?
Well, I
You
mean, I
swam
had my
through
dog.
that black water. Well, you and Peeves. Sorry, Peeves. You mean to tell me that you went in there by yourself with Peeves and swam beneath that black water? You found yourself there of a black dragon. And not only that, but that black dragon were not home. And not only that, but you did yourself discover pieces of the creature.
Joy.
And on top of that, the nice round number of 10 scale.
I don't pick the number. I'm sure there would be more. For the amount that I thought I might cash in, lest the dragon come back and turn me into goo.
Boy. That he would.
So, how much?
10 scales, you said you have.
10 scales.
I can get you 1,000 gold or worthwhile credit for it.
Wait, that'll do. Reckon. Not here to bargain.
I never were your strong suit word, Budge. But we're old friends. And I've given you a discount as it is.
I'm sure they have. So, few things I'd like. Wouldn't be that you're carrying any poisons.
Budge. A reputable agent to business like myself. You wound me.
I thought just in case.
Well, just in case, I happen to have a case. Right here. She reaches into her coat in one of the many pockets and pulls out a fine wooden case, kind of like a cigar box almost. She pops it open, and inside there's a kind of purple felt or velvet kind of fabric. And there's a number of long, thin vials that are lined up together, tied in place by fine ribbon. I have a few things that might strike your fancy.
Why, I
This
think
one
I
here.
would.
Now, it depends on whether you want, well, whoever's partaken. If you want to pop a drop in their wine or take their breath away. And you see she's got a couple, and then there's one of them that has a kind of light blue liquid filled up inside of it. Otherwise, it's perfectly transparent, other than the tint. The other two each have a kind of nugget of this bits of powder at the bottom, and there are vapors caught within the vial, but they're sealed with wax, airtight seals at the top. Now, this one here, pointing to one of the vaporous ones, which has a kind of purple powder at the bottom. This one here is called Burnt Oath or Fumes. 500 gold. It's nasty stuff. Busted up right next to someone. I tell you, they can hold their breath. Won't matter.
Right.
Get you in the nose, the eyes, the lips.
Anything more subtle? Something that might take a while.
Oh, Budge. You've grown up, have you?
I've done some things.
I think I've got just the thing. She puts the two vaporous ones away and keeps the blue transparent one. Says, now this is the most expensive, I won't lie to you. But I think you'll find it's worth the trouble if you truly need it. It's called Midnight Tears. It's liquid. Drop it in their drink, put it in their food. As long as they take it in, it takes no effect till the stroke of midnight. No matter when you give it.
No matter when.
No matter when. Now that one usually goes for 1,200 gold, but for a friend, I'll let it go for 1,000.
I will say in my head to Alora,
Mhm.
and I'll like, you don't mind. Can I just look at it for a second? And like,
You're saying out loud, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
yeah.
I'll just look at
Yeah.
it. Oh, certainly. Keep careful. Don't want to spill.
while
And she
I'm
does one of
holding
these
it-
little like quick tricks with her fingers to like get it slightly out of your reach, and then gives it to you.
I will say in my head to Alora, right? Hello, Alora.
Come in, Lord.
Come in, Alora.
Budge.
I've been offered some poison, and I don't know if it's useful to us, and if it's not, I won't blow all our money on it. But it's a very expensive poison that you give it to someone, you slip it into their drink or whatever, and at the stroke of midnight, it will, well, if they're an ordinary person, it will kill them. I don't know if that's something we could use. If not, I won't buy it. I thought it's party funds. I don't know. And maybe ask everyone, see if we want it or not. I don't know.
Is that the most likely thing in her inventory that thou wishes to buy?
I mean, it just seems quite dramatic, doesn't it?
Out loud, as you've been sort of like just silently pondering this
Yeah.
thing, he says, I can see you're thinking about it. If you're looking to buy more, I've got a few recent acquisitions. We could put something together, maybe give you a steeper discount. For a friend.
What sort of acquisitions?
Oh, Budge. There's a few here I'm certain to find good buyers for in Orst. But, well, if Sometimes it's a dangerous trip, you know. Things get lost, fall off the barge. People understand. And then from her back, Breezy will take a coiled rope, which, as she pulls it up, it's got a kind of silvery thread wound throughout. And Budge, you would have seen this before, but anyone who's over there watching probably wouldn't have. She takes it and with a quick practice motion, kind of like unfurling a lasso, flings this rope forward onto the ground, and it unfurls suddenly into like this 10-foot circle of rope, what has purple fabric strung between it. And then that fabric drops into the ground, to a pit of an extra dimensional space. And there is a different fabric sort of like covering heaps of different things that are lumped underneath in this big hole in the ground that was not there a moment ago. And Breezy, with a practice glance, looks down, reaches in, and picks up a handful of items that she has hidden under some fabrics there. He says, I think I have a few things here that might be of interest to you. She takes out a little box, a little velvet-lined box, puts it to one side, and then pulls up a rod, like a hunk of metal, that is adorned with the head of a charging steed, like a horse, and with its two hooves up like that. This one's a bit strange piece. I'm not altogether certain any but the most resourceful would find use for it, but well, anyway, we'll get to that. And then she picks up that box.
What's that? No, what's the
Oh, no, I
horse
really think
baton?
you'll find more interest for this. We'll get.
I'm not
we'll
really
get to
into jewelry as much, but all right.
Well, just don't say I didn't show it to you. And then she opens it, and it is a golden ring sitting inside the little velvet pillow, more or less, and it has a sigil of like a cup that is overflowing, and he says, I know you've got a few tricks up your sleeve, and you might know a few of your circus friends who might be in the market for a bit of magic on call.
Who isn't?
Sure, certainly. Now, you've got a water skin. You've got your bags. This here, it is like a water skin for spells. You cast your spell, put it in this, it holds on to it, as long as you need.
How long do you
You
need?
or anyone else.
Quite the ring.
Quite
And
the ring
before I
indeed.
say I do, I'd love to know how much it costs.
Aye. Now, this one's a big ticket item, Budge, I won't lie to you.
Oh, would you
Um,
ever, Breezy?
Oh, on mine honor. I swear it. And I must say, I'm confident I can find a buyer here in Orst for 5,000. It's a big ticket item, I won't lie.
Bit rich
you're
for
not
my
interested-
blood. if I'm
No,
honest.
well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I should mention, to sweeten the deal, it comes preloaded. The person I acquired it from said it's good for someone who wants fast friends right away.
Right.
Hmm.
So not much use for you, Breezy.
Ah, you flatter me, Budge. Not much use indeed. Oh. But to the creative sort, I did forget you were interested in this old rod.
I mean, it looked interesting. I'm curious. I will say
well.
in my mind as much as I can to allure. Magic ring for 5,000 gold. You can put a spell in it, and it will hold the spell. Does anybody want it? And as I try and continue listening,
She's putting away and says, I believe it holds up to maybe even up to 5 spells, depending on, not really my area, but I understand. It's quite a versatile thing, but I'll put it away. Too rich for your blood.
I just
And
want
she
to
leans
assume
down.
that Budge is like sort of
Yeah,
conveying
you
stuff
can be
back to
thinking it
Laura.
back. And she leans down and she's like, she's getting ready to pack up that hole. And she's like, oh, Budge, would you mind picking it up for me, that rod? It's right over there. I just set it down.
Right. Tentatively, we'll try and pick it up.
You reach down to pick it up, it will not move. As hard as you strain, like all of your
Budge won't-
strength, you
won't
pull
strain
against it.
too hard.
Yeah, no, just like
I
pull.
think as soon as he tells that there's something up, he won't like.
Yeah. What's the matter, Budge?
Don't say it.
Don't say what?
It won't move.
Oh, is that right? How interesting. And then she reaches down, gives it a bit of a tug. Oh, I understand. You haven't found the right way to grip it. And then she reaches her hand up along towards the front where the horse is and pushes one of the hooves. And it moves, like on a hinge mechanism. And then the rod comes up easily in her grasp. Why don't you flick that hoof right there? She lets go of the rod, and it hangs there in midair in front of you. See if you can move it.
Budge will like try and lift himself on it, like put his weight on it.
And you can. You can pick yourself up easily on it. Now see, here I knew you were Budge, and that most certainly will not do it. No matter how much you pull or push, that rod's not going nowhere. Now,
Right.
I'm meant to understand that it can hold up to 8,000 pounds of weight.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Strange thing. Can't say I can imagine exactly what anyone would want with it, but
You can? I can imagine a million things.
well, I suppose a million's quite a lot. If you could pay with imagination, it would be yours many times over, then, wouldn't it?
But alas.
Apologies, I've got a split right now.
Oh yeah, sure. We've gone over time.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, Rick. We'll close in just a sec.
Budge will get back in his head. Worry not about the ring, Budge. Storing spells and things will become something within my power as I learn more about my own magic. Mayhap the poison seems most interesting so far.
Well then, if you can imagine 1,000 things to do with it, that's its price.
Right. Then I will ask for a couple other trivial things if I'm to buy this.
Well then, list a couple of trivial things, and I shall see if it costs you trivial.
Would they have any ale or alcohol aboard this vessel?
Would I avail? I didn't take you to be the heavy drinking sort, Budge.
Nay, but I'm going to visit some old friends and I'd like you with something and bring with me.
Well then, if you're in the market for just a bit of a nip, I've got a bottle of some rather nice local stuff from the Goblet. Last time I went, it's a good autumn ale. A bit out of season, but it's been well aged.
My mates are a bit of heavy drinkers. Do you have a small barrel, something I could put away? Something like a hogshead.
Right then. You know, I could, I had a buyer for this, and it fell through. Could be... I suppose. And then she reaches back into this hole in the ground and roots around, picking up some fabric, and you see all manner of things up in there, just boxes and crates and things like that. She pulls up a strange-looking jug, which has a number of different spigots coming off of it at various levels, and then one kind of at the top. This is a strange piece, it is. First one I've seen like it, though I imagine, for what you're describing, damned useful.
I mean, not
It's-
much is going to fit in that.
Oh, You think so? Right. Well, I suppose in that case, it wouldn't interest you much. And then she reaches over and then takes one of the spigots and then sort of shakes it around. You can hear a little bit of liquid in there. She then turns one spigot and a bit of water comes
Do you smell
out.
that, Allura? Do you smell that?
From 50 feet, 100 feet away.
She turns one spigot and a bit of ale just comes dripping out, stops it. Turns another, a bit of water. Turns another, and a glop of sweet honey comes dripping straight out of it. And then looks to another and says, now this one you want to take particular care. And then she holds it out, twists a few drops, and acid spills onto the ground and bubbles and hisses there. It is what's formerly known as an alchemist jug. Bit of a nifty party trick it is. But if you're so inclined, can produce 4 gallons of ale for you a day.
Budge is still relaying this in his head. Yeah, so Alora will turn to Rain and say, Rain, it sounds like the jug that I did promise to make thee once.
Buy it.
It also can do you wine and vinegar if you're so inclined, fresh water, salt water, some oil, bit of poison, not much, but a little bit. And strangely enough, mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah, it is a sort of sauce made with egg and other things. It's rather nice on a sandwich, if you're so inclined.
Right, I guess you wouldn't want to confuse the acid for the mayonnaise.
No, certainly. I mean, unless, well, I suppose I could imagine a few reasons you might want someone else to. But you're the one with imagination. I'm the one with the goods. This one, I'd say, runs 200 gold. But if you're buying one of the bigger ticket items, I'll throw it in.
I will relay in my head to Allura about the rod of holding. Rod of holding? Is that what it
The
is?
immovable rod?
Immovable rod. I'll say, can you make one of those immovable? Can you make that thing? Is that something you would ever be able to make? Or because if not, I want to buy that.
I'd have to look into it, but I don't believe so. The jug of alchemy certainly, but the rod may have not.
The rod would be so good in our shows.
And
Right.
thou art skilled at poison. We can make others.
I can make poison as well.
I'm speaking to Budge here.
Oh.
Thou art skilled in poison. May have the rod is unusual.
And I'll say to Breezy, I will take this stick
Right.
or stick that does not move, and yeah, I'll take the jug as well.
Is he
All
buying
right,
the
then.
jug? Is he buying the jug?
Here's Rain.
That's 1,000 gold then. Which, of course, could be a straight up trade for your scales.
What a surprise!
What a
I think
surprise
that will,
indeed.
Work nicely. Such a round number.
Such a nice round number. You'll love it when luck's on your side for once, huh?
Today it seems it is.
Well then. You alright with this lot? You didn't want them to see.
They just... They are a amiable lot, but not particularly good at staying quiet. And I thought, why trouble thee with 5 sets of eyes and 5 sets of ears on some of your
Can
goods?
you feel the love?
Is Rain singing that right now?
Like that. I know
Right,
thee
but-
as a inconspicuous merchant of the lake, and I would not wish thee particular notoriety across the boards.
That's very kind of you, Budge. I suppose in return, I'll have to do my best not to know you as a member of that group which ransacked the bank's estate and is wanted in Gadmouth. But of course, we're old friends, so I'll know you as you want to be known. And I think that's probably a good place. That's probably a good place for us to end for the night.
It is.
We've gone over time.
Man.
It's 10:45. I've kept you long. Sorry to Rick and Donna, who I think had to dash.
There's no way she wouldn't have known. Like,
Yeah. That's gotten round, I'm afraid.
I wasn't sure if Budge was known amongst them.
Yep. They said the
Just
magical
because-
game band at the beginning. That would be the thing that she put two and two together. You wrote the magical game band was here in Spiderweb across the bank's estate.
And then sung it immediately to this person. Immediately, I was like, maybe let's do some forgery. Let's not let them know. I'll go my own. Magical
Game band. We have gone over time, but I should finish as always by first saying a thank you to Matt Day, our technomancer in residence, who created Rollcast for us. That's how we get these slick dice rolls and these overlays. Thank you as well to Eric Matthias, who created the music that all of you listening can hear in the background. Check out soundimage.org for more examples of his fine handiwork. Thank you to those of you who have been watching either today or on our YouTube channel later. If you haven't yet, please go there and subscribe at Bardic Inspiration. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at Bardic_inspo. You can also follow Soothplayers at soothplayers.com and find out more info about us there, and on all other media social as well. So we'll finish off, as always, by saying thanks, and more thanks. We'll see you next week for the Headless Marys.